Today, we're going to take you on an international magical mystery tour. We are in the hunt for disruptive packaging innovations. My name is Jim Downham, and I am the CEO of PAC Global. PAC Global is a not-for-profit, member-based association. Our mission is to help members achieve their business goals. Today, we're bringing a cross-sector of international leaders to your doorstep. This will save members money, time, and energy. And in return, we are taking our global audience, members, and soon-to-be members on a journey to our storyteller locations to learn, connect, buy, and sell. The PAC Global Adventurers explore the world, Indiana Jones style, in search of the ultimate packaging innovation, the Ark of the Covenant. We know that the hard-to-recycle packaging holy grail has been found in Europe. Congratulations to our friends John DeBelder, Larry Logan, and all Team Pathfinders. Today, first mover innovators, creators, designers, and entrepreneurs will share stories of their disruptive packages, designs, processes, materials, and circular innovations. The raconteurs will share their stories from within their own setting locations, including technology campuses such as the one we're in today, high-tech and R&D labs, global innovation centers, culinary kitchens, demo centers, and corporate offices. Today we're going to start and finish our global magical mystery tour right here in the Marks SGS Toronto, Canada campus. Let's get started, everybody. Rob, great to see you.
Really good to see you.
Nice to be in your home today with you and all of your team members.
Yeah, and welcome to the Canadian home of SGS Co.
Well, you know, SGS Co and Marks have been amazing members of PAC Global for decades now, and we're delighted to partner with you today. So thank you for being our host.
Yeah, and it's appropriate. On this campus, we've got our creative agency Marks. We've got a 3-bay photo studio in full operation today, as well as our production agency SGS, all here together as one team.
What a great facility to showcase to our world today as we bring a global audience into your home. And again, thank you for that. We also have speakers, storytellers from around the world that'll be talking about some very cool and interesting and extremely disruptive packaging concepts and processes. So you're in great company.
Yeah, and we of course think it's appropriate to host here because a lot of great packaging innovation has come from these 4 walls over the years for great brands, great clients, and ultimately to connect with consumers.
And I've been watching your entries come into our wards for years and walking away with lots of beautiful hardware, so I think we'll probably see some of it on display today.
Yeah, we'll try and catch an award or two on the tour.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
All right, welcome.
Thank you. I'm honored to introduce our keynote speaker, Anthony Watanabe. We first met in 2007 when Anthony was retained as a sustainability advisor to Procter & Gamble. Laundry detergent compaction made a significant sustainable packaging impact. It was a disruptive collaboration for brands and retailers. 15 years later, we are good friends, and Anthony has continued to advance the sustainability movement. Today, he is Vice President and Global Head of Environmental Sustainability for Indorama Ventures PLC. They are based in Bangkok, Thailand, and is the world's largest producer of PET resins. Anthony is a great storyteller and will take us on a journey to reimagining circularity with Indorama. Circularity is more than recycling. It is the wholesale reimagining of a linear economic system that has existed for decades. But ambitious change requires innovation, tenacity, collaboration, and courage. That is the Indorama story. So buckle up your seatbelt and off we go. Thailand, here we come.
Imagine a world where no one litters. Imagine a world where every single plastic bottle is recycled. Well, that's the world that Indorama Ventures is striving to create. Hi, my name is Anthony Watanabe, Vice President and Global Head of Environmental Sustainability at Indorama Ventures Limited. The specific plastic we produce and recycle is called polyethylene terephthalate, or PET for short, and is most commonly used for soft drink and water bottles. PET is lightweight, reliable, and cost-effective. And many people don't realize that PET has a very low carbon footprint compared to alternatives when considering raw materials, production, transport, use, and end of life. And since PET is made to be remade, this carbon footprint is dramatically reduced when it comes to recycled PET. Indorama Ventures is the world's largest manufacturer of PET and the world's largest producer of recycled PET for beverage bottle application. Operating 140 facilities in 36 countries across Asia, Africa, the Americas, and Europe with over 26,000 colleagues, we are truly a global company. And as such, Indorama has a responsibility to drive the sustainability of our sector, and we take this responsibility seriously. For instance, the linear economy of the past was about take, make, waste. The circular economy of the future is about return and renew, making products that are made to be remade again. But how do we get there? Well, the key is effective waste management, a near universal goal across the world, but one that remains elusive to this day for several complex reasons. For us to establish a truly circular economy, businesses must embed sustainability. Policymakers must develop evidence-based regulation, and consumers must make informed choices about what to buy and how to dispose of their purchases. It takes all of us. At Indorama Ventures, we are investing in partnerships, innovation, and education to create a better world. In this video about reimagining circularity, I explain Indorama's specific approach to people, planet, prosperity, and purpose. We know that the strength of any organization, regardless of its size, comes from its people. And at Indorama Ventures, one of our core values is diversity is our strength. With over 26,000 colleagues on 4 continents, we are indeed highly diverse in terms of ethnicity, culture, age, gender, language, and experience. The combined force of these different perspectives working towards the same goal yields powerful results. And this diversity enables us to better understand and even anticipate our customers' evolving needs, such that we can help them delight their consumers around the world. We believe that embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion is crucial for any company looking to succeed in the global marketplace. And by the way, it's just the right thing to do. All businesses, big and small, have a responsibility to be stewards of our planet. Indorama Ventures has a robust decarbonization plan, which aims to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 30% by 2030. However, it's important to note that environmental sustainability and prosperity are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they complement each other. Greater economic prosperity means higher levels of education, more innovation, and greater global collaboration on issues of collective importance like climate change. Indorama Ventures is creating meaningful jobs, contributing valuable products to society, both globally and locally. This enables us to fulfill our duties as a responsible global citizen. And finally, all businesses need a clear purpose because consumers don't just buy what we make, they also buy what we believe. So, what's Indorama's purpose? Well, I'll leave it to our Deputy Group CEO, Mrs. Suchitra Lohia, to announce.
It's time to state our purpose, publicly, clearly, and boldly. Reimagining chemistry together to create a better world.
There you have it. Reimagining chemistry together to create a better world. What does this look like in practice? IVL's story begins by recognizing what it takes to establish a circular loop for PET. Let me give you a virtual tour around our recycling plant in Nakhon Pathom, Thailand, just outside of Bangkok. Used PET products are delivered to our factory in compressed bales. Once they arrive, we sort and clean the PET plastic. Any labels, any impurities are removed. The PET is then crushed into small flakes and goes through another round of cleaning. The flakes are melted at around 300 degrees Celsius to make them into small pellets, and these recycled plastic pellets can then be used to create new PET packaging. That's how we establish a circular life cycle for PET plastic. Optimizing recycling depends on a constant interaction between regulation, in other words, incentives, and innovation, in other words, design. IVL supports recycling through three key pillars: partnership, innovation, and education.
Plastic waste is a global problem, and Asia is seen as being central to this issue. As we navigate informal collection systems, increasing consumer demand, we are pushed to provide better solutions for the plastic that we create. Indorama Ventures is not shying away from this monumental task. We're leading recycling efforts from a Thailand base to the rest of the world on a global scale. We have 23 recycling facilities in 12 countries with more than 76 billion bottles recycled since 2011. Our target is to recycle 3.13 million tons of plastic, or 200 billion bottles per year by 2030. But how do we get there?
To realize this ambitious recycling mission, we take our cue from Sustainable Development Goal 17, partnerships. One exciting example is our partnership with the International Finance Corporation and the Asian Development Bank to secure the first ever blue loan granted to a global plastic resin manufacturer. The $300 million blue loan will be used to recycle more than 50 billion PET bottles in Thailand, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Brazil. And in this way, Indorama is making a positive contribution to keeping our oceans clean and blue. Another example of partnership is our joint venture with Coca-Cola Beverages Philippines, the bottling arm of the Coca-Cola company in that country. Together, we've built a bottle-to-bottle facility that can recycle 2 billion bottles per year. This is perfect circularity on a significant scale. But our approach to partnership extends beyond bricks and mortar infrastructure to softer measures like advocacy, diplomacy, and thought leadership. Case in point, Indorama Ventures, along with partners like the Japan Bank for International Cooperation, is supporting a Sustainability Leaders Council. The Council has an ambitious mandate to foster an action-oriented agenda for governments and the private sector, particularly here in Asia. The goal is to build more resilient societies, reduce plastic waste, create economic value, and build more sustainable communities. During the inaugural summit just before COP26 in 2021, the Council released a report called Unlocking Sustainable Plastics in Asia. Now, this report advocates for a more dynamic role for both the public and the private sector here in Asia to improve and even to optimize the management of plastic waste. So as you can see, reimagining circularity on a global scale is a huge challenge, and we cannot do it alone. Partnerships are key to realizing our common dream of a sustainable world.
Innovation. We hear this word all the time. What really does it mean? Well, I can tell you what it means for us here in IVL. To be a leader in providing circular solutions, IVL has recently launched a carbon neutral brand, Deja. The products made under the Deja brand are 100% recyclable, but that's not all. These solutions enable our customers in packaging as well as in manufacturing of everything from automobiles all the way to clothing to keep their emissions low and their quality high. Deja's latest innovation, carbon neutral pellets, are made with renewable energy, locally sourced material, and low impact water transport to achieve carbon neutral footprint. When emissions cannot be avoided, we ethically offset them to achieve that carbon neutrality. Our Deja brand is closing the loop with complete integrity, ensuring circularity. Deja is the paragon of how packaging can be a key enabler of recycling.
As we have seen, partnerships and innovation are crucial drivers of Indorama's recycling efforts. But if there is no engagement with the people actually using the products, then this bottle cannot become flakes and it loses its massive economic potential. In the worst case scenario, this plastic bottle will escape a closed loop, become waste, and contribute to environmental and social problems. In an improved scenario, it may provide valuable feedstock to other products, like fibers for clothing. However, in an ideal world, the world that IVL aspires to build, this bottle would be remade into another bottle. And to realize this ideal world, we need more education on recycling. And that brings us to reimagining circularity through education. All plastics are not equal. Part of making responsible choices means understanding what should be recycled. PET is made to be remade. And in this process, there is economic, environmental, and even social value. At Indorama Ventures, our goal is to educate 1 million people globally on recycling by the year 2030. And the best person to talk about this is my colleague Colum Jordan, our Global Head of Sustainability Communications and Advocacy.
In 2017, Indorama Ventures launched our recycling education project in Thailand, where we're headquartered. Our goal is to raise awareness of waste separation and the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Every year we reach tens of thousands of Thai children, but we want to do more. This year, we entered a new partnership with the Janus Foundation to create recycling education material for a global audience, from kindergarten to college, written, tested and validated by teachers themselves. By empowering the next generation to properly separate and dispose of waste, they will know how to end waste and protect our planet. A 2019 assessment of our recycling education work found that every dollar we invested generated 5 times the value. Now, we want to scale our education work globally with an ambitious target to reach 1 million young people by 2030.
Education of our youth is obviously critical, and it's also important for policymakers since regulation plays such a key role in recycling. We know that recycling is optimized in places where there are schemes like deposit return systems, where consumers are financially incentivized to properly dispose of products, and quite simply where there are enough bins to collect the bottles. And we also need evidence-based policy to design, build, and operate such a robust recycling ecosystem. The circular economy depends on support from both regulation and innovation. The right policies inform and encourage people to be thoughtful about what they're doing with their products. Innovation in turn pushes the boundaries of possibility to deliver a better consumer experience with a lower carbon footprint. Whether it's creating fully recyclable bottles, leveraging sustainable financial instruments, or educating our young on how waste separation works, IVL is reimagining circularity on many fronts, and we're committed to strengthening this well-rounded approach going forward. So there you have it, reimagining circularity through partnerships, innovation, and education. A robust and evolving framework in Indorama's recycling journey. IVL's legacy has and continues to be built by the people we serve. This includes our recycling teams, our diverse customer base, including not just packaging, but also mobility, lifestyle, and hygiene, and their global, diverse, and demanding consumer. So what about you? What is your legacy going to look like when your children talk about you in the future? And about how you can innovate with purpose for our people and planet, creating a better, more sustainable, and more prosperous world for all of us.
So for our beer lovers in the audience, you're going to love this one. We're now going to jet off to visit Anheuser-Busch InBev, the world's largest brewer. Today we're going inside their Global Innovation and Technology R&D Center. It is located in Leuven, Belgium, just east of Brussels. We will join Brad Weaver, the Global Vice President of Commercial Innovation, and his team to learn about how they launched Stella Unfiltered in the UK. This brilliant story shares how they embraced a new methodology, challenging themselves internally to innovate and disrupt packaging design for the consumer-centric vision. A major focus was to develop a unique package while providing a premium experience for consumers.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's session on self-disruption for consumer-centric innovations. My name is Brad Weaver, and I'm the Global Vice President of Commercial Innovation for the supply organization of ABInBEV. ABInBEV is the world's largest brewer. We have a rich history of brewing that goes back 600 years. And through a series of consolidations within the company, we've kept our best practices and people to deliver innovations to our consumers. Here in our global research facility, our Innovation and Technology Center, we are focused on bringing those things to life. In this session today, we're going to take you through the disruptive methods that we're applying to ourselves, our industry, our supply chain, and our suppliers. We're going to start with Stella Unfiltered, our newest one. As you can see from the package, it's different than any other beer package that's on the shelf, from the top handle to the opening to the shape. All of these were brought through methods of disruption. These methods are being taught to us by IC3. Benedict Prohl will be here to take you through those, and our team from the GTEC will show you the projects in life, in action, and how we did it. We'll have 3 today to show you, Stella Unfiltered being the main one, how this was engineered and executed into the trade. The others that we'll show today are what we call circular packaging, taking a waste product and turning it into a material that we use in our 6-packs for Corona. And then finally, how we're focused on returnable glass bottles for sustainability and carbon footprint. I hope you enjoy the session, and we'll hand it over to Benedict, Marina, and Wim.
Hi, my name is Benedict. I'm the Managing Director of IC3, the Innovation Instigators. And what I mean by the innovation instigators is that we support our clients on the one hand with the systematic development of new ideas, concepts, and solutions. And on the other hand, we then support them with the MVP or the project development after we develop these new ideas and concepts. And for that reason, we also developed our own methodology called accelerated design thinking. And instead of classic design thinking, where we will actually try and identify a new need or a new pain point that the market has, we are doing exactly the opposite. We're using existing expert knowledge, and we're helping those experts to actually avoid those patterns of thought that can prevent us from getting to new ideas and solutions, but actually actively using those patterns that can help us to get to these new ideas and solutions. And today I have the special honor to also share with you a couple of cases where we had the honor to support the ABInBEV packaging innovation team to develop some of their existing solutions. And I'm sure that my colleagues here from ABInBEV can tell you a lot more about the actual innovation efforts, but it's my honor to share a little bit the approach or methodology that we took together with this team in order to help them to uncover some of these new insights and get to some of these new ideas and solutions that we are going to present to you today. So, the first example that I want to share with you is really the core principle of what this packaging innovation team has been using and is still using in their daily business. This is really the key element and the key approach that this team is taking is this principle of deconstruction. So as a first step, what this team really did is they made a huge effort trying to deconstruct the entire world of packaging. What I mean by deconstruction is literally to look at each element available for solution development in order to create this overview for the entire team of all the resources we have available to create a really new and innovative solution. The second step is to then take all the knowledge that we gathered during the deconstruction phase, looking at each individual element of a pack and then relating that directly to brand understanding. So, by taking the understanding of a brand and a specific market and directly linking that to specific elements and components of our pack, we are basically using a function transfer or function integration methodological approach in order to develop new packaging ideas which eventually really help to add more value for our consumer at the other end. So in this specific case, and I'm sure you're gonna hear a lot more about this, we basically took some of the existing brand elements, like a specific opening ritual, and we tried to translate it directly into a pack. Or we took something like an external function, like the beautiful carrying feature of a woman's handbag, and we tried to translate or integrate that into the world of beer packaging. And this is how we systematically looked at the capabilities of a pack and then transferred new or external functions into that product or into that pack and into that world at the other end. This brought us then, obviously, first into a drafting phase where the fantastic designers of ABInBEV and my team had the chance to do some first sketches and scribbles and drafts of these initial thoughts in order to then really turn them into something that could be considered a more solid design that is then shared with the markets, with the brands, in order to go into some sort of a verification phase. And I'm not sure if the ABInBEV team is going to tell you a little bit more about what efforts they are doing in order to verify their concepts. But after this important step, we are then really trying to make these results tangible in terms of some renderings and some high-level visualizations in order to really be able to communicate the benefit and the value of these new concepts here internally. So that kind of sums up a little bit the internal design process that we had the honor to support with the ABInBEV team, but I'm sure you're still gonna hear a lot more from these experts and from my colleagues about the specific innovation examples that they're about to share with you.
Hi, I'm Marina Gonzalo. I work for the Global Packaging Innovation team here in GTEC, our R&D center for ABInBEV here in Belgium. And this is our latest launch from GTEC. This is Stella Artois Unfiltered, and it's one of our finest propositions for the brand Stella Artois, actually. As you know, the role of packaging in the beverage industry, it's sometimes even more important than in other industries. Why? Because packaging is involved in the path to purchase. So not only from the shelf, but also how we grab the pack from the shelf, how we take it home, how we store it, how we access the bottles from the packs, and how we store the pack. So everything about the consumer journey here is important. For the role of packaging, it's very important to understand what the interaction points along that consumer journey are. In the case of Stella Artois, it's very important to make sure that we are delivering premiumness when handling, when opening, and with storing. So how did we do that? How did we overcome those pain points in the consumer journey and translate those into packaging features? From the design perspective, we needed to translate those into features that would deliver premiumness. Let's take a look at this pack that I have in front of me. This pack has corners, has walls, has a carrying feature, has an opening feature. And how are those premium to Stella? Well, in this case, the corners are round and they're in line with the elegant and sophisticated lines that Stella is proposing. Regarding ergonomics, we have included a first of its kind handle. Carrying a Stella has never been more satisfying than this. Super comfortable, super sturdy, and this would make any consumer very happy to carry it around. About the opening, we have a 30-60-degree tearing feature, very in line with the unwrapping ritual that we have for Stella. Let's take a look. So this is very in line with the unwrapping ritual that Stella already has included in its neck label. But also, this is a very nice opening act for something even better. And voila. So this level of differentiation, like Stella was proposing, wouldn't be possible with a little bit of disruption to the supply chain and the way we pack. So let's hear it from Wim, who will explain a little bit better from the engineering side.
Hello everybody, Wim de Koker. I'm in charge of supply transformation, an ambitious team that is looking into the brewery of the future. We're actually working on digital and physical technologies that help to transform our operations. So that's quite exciting thing to do. But let's take a look today in a quite innovative project, a very disruptive project, where what we've done for Stella Artois. So it all started with an innovative brief from the Stella Artois global brand team. It was actually quite amazing to see what they wanted. They wanted to develop a new, disruptive, differentiating look for the Stella Artois pack, the overall family of packs. It's something that we never got in that extent because they were asking new styles, in total 10 styles, to really be differentiating versus other brands. They also wanted in total a family of 30 different pack formats, from a 3-pack to a 24-pack, but in all different shapes and looks. So that was a brief that we never had before. But historically, we should have said no. But this time, as a team, we said, yes, we need to figure out a way to produce and manufacture these amazing packs. So let's take a look. let's take a look at the as-is situation. Today in our breweries, we have actually limited capabilities and very standard capabilities, from a standard 6-pack basket up to a 24-pack fully enclosed. This is produced throughout different machines that are put in parallel into the line, and that together is giving the capabilities. So it takes quite a bit of floor space because you have multiple machines. It requires quite a bit of capital because you have multiple machines to invest into. But still at the end, you're producing standard industry boxes or packs that are not differentiating towards any of your competitors. So we took the challenge and we said, yes, we're going to do this, and we're going to change the way of production in packing of beer. So we went looking into the market and we didn't find any solution off the shelf. Otherwise, we would already have known it. But we went investigating in which type of technologies that were out there. As ABI, we were using, in fact, mainly continuous production machines because they're high speed, but the consequence is low flexibility. But we went looking into the new technologies that other industries were using, which is intermittent production. Intermittent production is start and stop, but in every start and stop in the process, you can do a certain action and add a certain capability or feature to your pack. So that looked very interesting for us. But it came also with some downsides. It brings the flexibility that we wanted, but it doesn't bring the full throughput that we wanted. So this technology allows us to produce packs up to medium speed, medium throughput. But we went deeper into it and we found a partner named Kronos. Kronos became part of the project, and we started to develop a flexible medium throughput solution. But actually, if we look in the future, our ultimate dream is not just to have flexibility, but also high throughput. So to combine both of these, that's the future. Okay, let's now take a look also how we engineered, in fact, the machine. What was special about it? Actually, what was special about it, that as engineering team, we were part of the project team as of day one. We were around the table with the marketing team, the pack development team, and my team. And that is unique from day one. But we complemented the team with external expertise that we don't have in-house. And that's where partners came in. And partners played an important role in this whole development. One of the partners that came in very early in the process was Schubert Consulting. It's a firm that is consulting, in fact, on technology and on engineering of machines, and with very deep knowledge in packer development. So that external support, Schubert Consulting, helped us, in fact, to make the full engineering brief for this product. And that allowed us then to go tendering in the market. And that's where then finally, after both technical assessment and financial assessment, Kronos came out as being the partner for the next phase of the development of the machine and actually the build of the machine. Finally, we built a new way of manufacturing together with our partner Kronos. One big element into the disruptive engineering solution is, in fact, that we have developed a modular machine built out of 5 big modules, and the combination of these 5 modules allow us to produce, in fact, all the pack styles and pack formats that we were briefed for. So that's a key element into the new solution. The other element is robotics. Robotics brings flexibility. In total, we have 19 robots inside the machine that can do all kinds of things, and so add capabilities and add flexibility to the solutions we want to produce. Let us take a look at the pack. Here you have a 6-pack, and what is so special about it also compared to traditional way of packing is, one, the body forming. The body forming is very precise. If you see, the positioning is at the millimeter correct. What's not the case with current packers that are in the market today. Next to that, we have another feature, orientation. Each bottle in the pack is oriented, and if you have a 6-pack or a 12-pack, you can choose the orientation. So it's all programmable, so that's part of a higher level of automation. And then grouping. Normally, a machine can do a 6-pack, a 12-pack, or maybe a few 2-3 packs, but not a whole range. This machine can group from a 3-pack, a 4-pack, a 6-pack, 8, 10, 12, up to 24. All grouping formations are possible. Then, as I mentioned, robots. Robots can do features. We have different packs. This pack has a handle. Here we insert with the robotics the handle. But in other packs, for instance, there's in the range as a pack style also specialty packs. We can even insert glassware in the pack, which is even more premium and for special occasions. So that's about the pack. But it doesn't finish with the secondary packer. The machine is in the 5 modules, we have also the tertiary packer blocked. So which means that the final product coming out of the machine is not the 6-pack, but is a 6-pack in its tertiary packaging. That can be a tray or a full wraparound, and there also we have full flexibility. So let's conclude. We have an amazing platform developed together with Kronos, which is able to produce a lot of flexible packs, so the 30 plus packs formats that I mentioned, and 10 different pack styles. So, but it doesn't stop there, because this platform gives us infinite possibilities for other brands to develop for them also distinctive looks, so that they can differentiate them on the shelf for our consumers. So at the end, it's all about the consumer that we engineer this great solution. Okay, let's now take a look how we developed this nice product as a team.
Thanks, Wim. From the packaging perspective, we brought our partner Karl Nauer, who brought deep information and deep knowledge on packaging processes, folding carton conversion, and structural design. In this way, machine and packaging came together, and this brought the opportunity for us to work together as one team. And this was really important, because if the pack was developed on its own and in a silo way of working, all the learnings that we would find from that perspective would never be acquired by the machine side. And all the learnings that we got from the machine side in our test rigs or our proof of principles would never be reflected in the pack development. So actually, we took an agile approach and iterating together, working together as one team. And this is how we deal with big innovations here in ABInBEV, by doing that approach and partnering up with suppliers, bringing the very good expertise that we have in home. So in a nutshell, this is how we disrupted the packaging beverage innovation. So we had a more consumer-centric approach. We disrupted the way that we designed packs and focusing on the consumer journey and its pain points. We disrupted the way that we manufacture packs and the way we partner and collaborate, co-create with our suppliers.
Thanks, Wim and Marina, for showing that great example of how we're executing disruption across not only ourselves, but our supply chain, and having our suppliers work with us on those solutions. The next example that we're going to take you through is our sustainable circular packaging. This is a true industry disruptor. We are trying to change the way that we make all paperboard, not only for ABI, but for the entire brewing industry. This industry disruptor lines up to our ESG priorities and our themes: inclusive, local, and nature. Our local and natural themes, Farida will take you through as we try to boost up local economies by using a waste product today, our barley straw, and bringing that into a natural-based solution for carton making. This disruptive innovation was brought through the elimination method. Benedict will take us through that, and Frida will then show how we execute it in the trade.
So the second part of the methodology and the second innovation pattern that I would like to share with you today was actually shown in the last Stella Innovation beer pack example that we've just seen. So the Stella Unfiltered, just like many other innovation examples, like for example the contact lens, the Dyson vacuum cleaner, or instant coffee, all of these examples could be explained in terms of their evolution based on the fact that a core component or an essential component from their world was eliminated from the predecessor to its next evolutionary level. So if we can explain many innovation examples based on that simple logic and that simple pattern, this is exactly one of the methodological approaches we took also in the ABInBEV packaging innovation team in order to uncover new insights, new ideas and solutions. And the big example I want to share with you today is also one that, of course, my colleagues are going to explain in a lot more detail. However, if I can try and explain a little bit the approach we took back then, in my words, the logic was again the same as we've seen already in the previous example. Step number one, we try to deconstruct the existing beer world and the existing beer pack world. The next thing is we are then using one of those patterns that can explain successful innovation in retrospect. So by applying the principle of elimination to the world of the beer pack, it was actually an honor to help the ABInBEV packaging innovation team to uncover a completely new insight. So the way I perceived this process was when the PAC was confronted with a hypothetical or difficult situation of imagining a beer pack completely without the PAC. So what we actually agreed to imagine at the end was something like a branded liquid still standing in the shelf ready to be purchased on the other end. And of course, that's not the great next idea, but this was the starting point in order to identify new benefits associated to the strange or hypothetical situation. And the amazing moment was when the ABInBEV team actually realized that a branded liquid in the shelf, the benefit of such a strange situation would be that the entire solution would be only manufactured by ABInBEV themselves. And this was the moment where a new thought, a new insight, and a new desire was triggered by this team. What they then tried to achieve is, how do we turn this into reality? How can we literally create a beer pack that is only done with our own resources, without any external suppliers? And this was also the moment that, of course, the participating experts then realized that maybe we could actually use a part that we are using in our beer making process that is now purely a waste material, namely the straw that is usually burned directly on the field, could now be used as a resource for packaging, manufacturing, and development. I'm sure that you've already seen the final solution. However, my colleagues are going to tell you a lot more of how much effort it then took to turn such an idea and concept into reality. But it was an honor to share with you which approach the team took, which new way of thinking actually led them to uncover a completely new insight that probably couldn't have been uncovered simply by asking the market what it needed or what it wanted.
Hello, I'm Farida bin Sadoun from the Global Packaging Innovation Team at ABInBEV, and I'm here to talk to you about the full elimination process application to real-life packaging. So just as Benedict introduced now, is how we could actually make our packaging more circular, but not only eliminating part of the raw material, but by substituting with something which is more circular, more sustainable, and that can make also our packaging as performant as it is today. One of the examples that we have is the barley packaging that we have launched last year, which kind of reinvents the way that we do carton and paper packaging. What we are trying to do there is to use one of the byproducts from the harvesting of barley in order to use it in the packaging that you see here in front. What we mean by byproducts is once you do the harvesting of the barley grain, you have the seed that will go into the recipe of your beer, but you also have the leftover straw that either stays on the field to be burned off or used as animal bedding or as soil fertilizer, which is quite low value for the farmer. What we're doing is we are taking that straw and we're pulping it in order to use it in our paper stream. So what happens now is actually we're moving away from the current, let's say, biomass that we use for carton, which is virgin wood, so trees that we have to cut to make the pulp, or the recycled fibers that is basically old carton boxes that we try to reuse multiple times. However, that lifetime is quite limited in terms of use because the property will degrade. So here we're introducing a third way of using basically biomass to enhance still the performance, which is alternative fiber named straw. How do we use that actually? It's very easy. We just one-to-one substitute it to the current recipe that we have today. So instead of using trees and wood, we use a combination of recycled content and straw. And with that, we reach similar performance as we have today. So at ABInBEV, our performance, let's say, portfolio is quite stringent. The packaging has to actually suffer and then go through multiple hurdles through the supply chain from its creation to the fact that until the time it gets to our consumer. So it needs to hold on like as you see today. So the way that it goes out of our brewery, it should be the way that it gets to our consumer. And one of the beautiful part about this packaging is it brings the circular message to our consumer because it's quite visual. It's not about talking about sustainability, but it's also about showing what sustainability can look like. So it's quite consumer-centric. We are trying to address also some of the consumer needs through that. Obviously, this is not something that we can do by ourselves. So we have several partners who helped us get to where we are today, naming, for example, Sustainable Fiber Technology, who has developed the pulping process, the Phoenix pulping process, as well as our converting partner, namely Accor Carton, Long Falls Paper Mill, Liberty Paper Mill, and of course, Lana Paper as well. So we couldn't do this without them. This packaging is not also about just putting something different to the recipe, but it's also about the reinvention on how we develop packaging for the future. So it's not just about putting something else and get it done. It's about putting something else and understanding how it will affect the paper stream in 5, 10, 30 years. And on top of that, by using the word of substitution and elimination, we also want to make sure that we reduce our environmental footprint by basically cutting off as much as possible carbon emissions. To give you an idea, packaging overall represents about 38% of our global emissions per year. So anything we can do in that area is going to be a huge win. And by basically using alternative fiber in carton, we are actually able to use less water, we are able to use less chemicals, and of course fewer trees, meaning that we have more trees producing oxygen for us to continue. So beyond the folding carton packaging that I just talked about, there's also several opportunities to apply alternative fiber, namely straw, into our other paper packaging stream, like the alternative rings that we are very often now using for our cans, but as well as label that we put onto the bottle, where we can also bring visibility on the sustainability credentials. So sustainability is not now just an abstract concept, but it can also be visualized and people can really see it to understand it. So in a way, what we're trying to do is to disrupt a little bit the way that we think about the development of paper packaging by bringing something new, something more sustainable, more circular as well, and that's good for the planet. So it's not just disrupting the beverage industry, we wanted to make sure that we also disrupt the paper packaging or the paper industry as a whole, as we know that there are multiple applications that could benefit from this type of developments. So the development of this type of packaging actually are linking very well with our 2025 sustainability goals, which aim to have 100% of our packaging either in a returnable format or made out of recycled content, but as well contributing to the reduction of 25% of our carbon emissions.
Thanks, Farida. And thanks to our GPO partner, Shane Henderson, for helping us with the goals of this project and bringing these exciting new packages to the marketplace. Shane and our procurement group are going to be important to get to our 2025 goals of having all of our packaging material either returnable or recyclable. Packaging makes up almost 40% of our carbon footprint. And in order to make our carbon neutrality goals, we need to come up with new solutions like these for our consumers. The returnable glass bottle is our second best packaging when it comes to reducing carbon footprint behind a keg. In this next session, Olivier is going to take you through how he's disrupting not only how a returnable glass bottle is run on the lines, but how we're trying to change the consumer mindset around this package.
Thanks, Brad. I'm Olivier Houbier, part of the Global Packaging Innovation team at ABInBEV. I'm going to talk to you today about a key sustainable initiative on Corona brand team. Corona is a brand which is really born at the beach and deeply connected with nature. So it really feels like a natural thing for the brand to be acting on plastic, and we've been doing that a lot and achieved recently a net zero plastic in June 2021. But we are now taking broader sustainable initiatives, acting on our own packaging waste and making sure that we recuperate Corona bottles as much as possible. Over 60% of our bottles globally are already returnable, but we have now localized production in some regions, and this really opens up a lot of opportunities to increase that percentage. I have to mention that we are really working hands in hand with our global Corona brand team in this journey. The whole story started in Germany, where we piloted in 2019. We made sure that the lime was removed effectively from the bottle and that the premiumness of the bottle was looking as good as possible for many rotations. We have a very high recovery rate, we have happy consumers, and at the same time a lower impact on the environment. We achieved that by working on 3 different work streams. The first one is the use of coating, masking the defects. Second one is detection of those defects as soon as possible by improved inspection system. And the third one is laser engraving a unique code on the bottle so that you can track the old pool of bottles and how the performance evolves. But we are now scaling up in more countries, more markets. Brazil this year and Uruguay next year. But when looking at further expansion, the challenge is not only technical but also commercial. Incentivizing consumers to bring the bottles back is not an easy task. We are going to be piloting new ways to incentivize consumers to bring the bottles back, including price discount and donation to local beach protection NGOs. Consumers will not feel forced to return our bottles, but they will feel part of the solution.
Thanks, Olivier, for bringing us through the great project on returnable glass bottles, how we're approaching the consumer, disrupting their mindset, and showing the strong bond that we have with our Corona brand team as they try to become the most sustainable beer brand in the market. I want to leave you with 3 things today. The first one is trying to apply these disruptive methods to your innovations. They truly brought breakthroughs for us in the ABI world, and now we're seeing that in the marketplace with our consumers. The second one is working with your suppliers and collaborating. This is critical. They have needs as well. And when you partner with their needs and your needs together, you bring stronger ideas to the marketplace and better profitability pool to all. The final is always be consumer-centric. Always looking for what problem you need to solve for your consumer and not what problem you need to solve for yourself. Thanks for joining us today, and I wish you all the best as you innovate for a future with more cheers.
Here's to a future with more cheers!
We're now going to take you to Leeds, UK. Jack Lipp of Aire Global will describe the process of right first time production artwork at lightning speed. We know that creating packaging artwork can be complex, time-consuming, and expensive, but it needn't be. Jack, Chief Transformation Officer, will describe how the latest PAC copy management and artwork automation technology is simplifying and streamlining graphics processes globally. Take it away, Jack.
Hi there, I'm Stephen McGuinness. I'm a writer, speaker, thought leader, and a consultant, and I specialize in global business, branding, and design.
Hi there, I'm Jack Lipp, Chief Transformation Officer and co-founder of Aire Global.
That's great. It's wonderful to be speaking to you, Jack. So today we're going to be talking about transformational packaging artwork technology. Now, your team has developed a packaging artwork automation system that reduces project time by 80%, will lower the costs by 40%, and will deliver right first time rates of 100%. Is that true? Because that sounds pretty unbelievable.
Yes, it's true. We're really excited about it and sharing some insights with everyone today.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit for the non-production experts who are watching this. First of all, what is artwork in relation to packaging, and what do you mean by automation?
Great question, Steve. Let's start with artwork. So artwork is the penultimate stage of the design to print process. The creative teams get final sign-off on the pack designs, but these are just designs. These are images of what we want to see printed. You can't actually print with these files. What we need to do is to turn them into detailed files with all the printable components included, color layers separated, technical and print considerations taken into account for each individual print vendor. And it's these artwork production files, also known as pre-press files, repro files, and origination files, that can be sent to the printer and actually printed. It is absolutely vital that everything on that artwork file is 100% accurate before it goes to print. We never want to end up in a situation where we're going to the end of a press, or worse, in store, and seeing a piece of packaging that's not fit for use. Artwork has always been created by people. It's been the same way for decades, but people are only human, and whenever we use humans, there's human error. Automated packaging artwork is the smartest technological development to happen to the design to print space in the last 20 years. With all packaging artwork requirements, there are many variables that companies attempt to control and streamline in order to execute getting files to print efficiently. It requires many people across many departments, maybe in different locations, using different systems, different partners, different methodologies, different documentation. And then you've got to consider the design, branding, marketing copy, regulatory codes, print processes, substrates, and inks. Artwork automation is the collation and execution of all these inputs automatically through the application of technology to produce a right first time, 100% compliant digital file.
Okay, well, that all makes perfect sense, but one thing I find interesting, you mentioned that this way of working has been around for 20 years, unchanged. A lot of things have changed in the last 20 years. There was no social media 20 years ago. We were using mobile phones at the size of house bricks, and every Saturday night we were queuing up at Blockbusters to get a DVD. So as the rest of the world has changed, how come the artwork process has just stayed the same?
So from my side of things, there's three reasons. Firstly, the industry is dominated by a small number of big players. They're heavily invested in the status quo, and it's not going to suit them to change. Most have already invested in offshore supercenter studios full of human art workers in places such as India, China, Vietnam, and even Mauritius. So it's going to be difficult for them to undo this expensive commitment and walk away from these big investments. Secondly, clients don't realize there's a better way, so they aren't asking their current partners for it. And finally, it's taken a huge amount of time and investment on our part to build an implementable solution that can integrate readily into a brand's existing system. For instance, our automation runs directly in Adobe Illustrator, meaning it's very unique. Adobe Illustrator is the global industry standard for packaging design, artwork and pre-press, and has been for years and is likely to be for years to come.
Okay, well, I completely can see how that would work. I suppose my question would be, and I think the question a lot of people would have is this the sort of thing that's only going to work on huge global rollouts with massive volumes of SKUs? Is this practical, possible, cost-effective for smaller brands or smaller projects?
This is a great question and one we get asked the most. Over the last couple of years, we've made it our mission and focus to ensure that we can automate every single job here at Aire. So by accelerating the upfront process, what it's meant is that actually automating the first piece of artwork in a brand range, which typically in old automation methods would take a long amount of time, actually doesn't take long at all. So it's just the same amount of time, if not less, than it would be to produce that artwork manually. Of course, the big cost savings, time savings are seen when there are rollouts or there's pack updates connected with that automated master. But yes, to automate a single artwork now doesn't cost any more than doing it manually.
So whenever we talk about automation, obviously one of the questions that comes up is what is being automated? Is this process going to take work and I guess jobs away from marketeers or creatives?
No, not at all, Steve. We're not trying to automate innovation and creativity here. It's quite the opposite, in fact. Artwork automation is not going to design and understand or inform what looks aesthetically pleasing. But this is where we're seeing the collaboration and synergy between artwork automation and the creative crafting of design elements, providing a much wider scope for the automation's application within the design to print arena. Its application in design allows more time, for instance, for creatives to be creative, allowing them more time to craft the things that they want to craft rather than populating nutritional tables or adding ingredients lists. For marketeers and brand owners, automation is just simply making their days at work better. Imagine never having to process an artwork amend again. I'm yet to find a single person in this industry that enjoys processing artwork amends. Imagine promising your team a solution that will get your piece of packaging to market quicker and more accurate, 100% compliant, within brand guidelines. That will put a big smile on everyone's faces, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Okay, well this sounds very exciting. So tell me a little bit about the Aire global team. Are you a bunch of crazy mavericks working on the outside of the system, mixing things up and breaking things and being innovative?
Not quite, Steve. Yes, we are shaking the industry up, but we're not outsiders. We're independent, which is why we can question the status quo. But our pioneering technical and creative teams of around 100 people have got a proven 10-year track record of delivering design, adaptation, artwork, pre-press and colour management for thousands of brand owners across the world. Okay, so I guess one of the questions is, who are some of these current clients you talk about? Will I have heard of any of them? Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of them. We're really proud at Aire Global to have some fantastic client relationships. We work with FMCG businesses including Kellogg's, Unilever, Quorn and ABInBEV, and we work with those guys on projects all around the world.
Okay, yeah, I've definitely heard of those clients. So I see the benefits of what you're delivering, but how difficult is this to integrate into an existing system? Does the client need to throw away their current way of working and start again, or can you, I guess, slot this in?
This is a great question, and one that's really personal to me and the team here at Aire. We've spent the last 2 years really refining our solution to be accessible to every brand owner right now, understanding the processes and methodologies to implement a true end-to-end automation solution that's extremely flexible and can bolt on to any existing design to print process. Our tool makes life easier for everybody involved, and it covers all routes in terms of getting this variable data into one system. With the increased pace of globalization, trends, changing consumer habits, pandemics, wars and recession, packaging now more than ever has to be agile in its execution and speed to market. Adopting artwork automation technology will be the difference between those that are able to respond quickly to these changes and those that can't. Okay, so I mean, packaging is, I believe, the most powerful medium that any brand has to work with, but there are other mediums. Does this automation process work with the other mediums such as e-commerce or point of sale? The answer is yes. We haven't stood still in regard to automating artwork and reprographics and design adaptation for packaging. At the moment, we're currently automating all of our point of sale materials here at Aire for our partners, as well as e-commerce content and digital. Okay, great. Well, that's been a brilliant session, Jack. I've really enjoyed it. So in summary, this revolutionary artwork automation process delivers higher quality, faster,
at lower cost and with 100% accuracy rate. I hate to ask the question, but is there anything else it does for brand owners?
So over the last few years, what we've discovered with our partners is that actually it gives them peace of mind and makes their days at work better. And that's for everyone involved within the packaging design to print process. Every department, every global location, everyone adopting artwork automation technology, their days at work are better.
Well, that's a great note to end on. Thanks very much for your time today, Jack. If anybody, and I'm sure they will, wants to get in touch with you, what's a good way to get hold of you and the Aire Global team?
Thank you ever so much for your time today, Steve. It's really much appreciated. We love nothing more than talking to brand owners around artwork automations and the opportunities it has to enrich and enhance their design to print processes. If anyone's got any questions today, please contact us through the website. And just before I finish, what I'd love to share with you is a short clip of our artwork automation technology in action, and I challenge anyone today to produce an artwork quicker manually. Thank you.
We're now going to take you on a short journey to Ipswich to meet Malcolm Waugh, the CEO of Frugalpac, a sustainable packaging company with a global mission to decarbonize the food and drinks industry. They create and supply recycled paper-based products with the lowest carbon footprint that are easily recycled again and don't need to go to landfill. And that's exactly what our industry is trying to avoid.
My name is Malcolm Waugh and I'm the Chief Executive of Frugalpac. Welcome to our presentation for the PAC Global Disruptors Summit. Ahead of the presentation, I had a little look in the dictionary to just really get the full definition of disruptor. Causing trouble and therefore stopping something from continuing as usual. Not really what we want to be. However, there's another definition, changing the traditional way that an industry operates, especially in a new and effective way. That's what Frugalpac is about. Frugalpac's a young British company motivated by a passion to reduce the impact of carbon on the planet. And we do this by engineering our solutions using sustainable packaging, namely recycled paper. All Frugalpac products are made from at least 90% recycled paper and are easily recycled again. Our aims are to become an international leading innovator and supplier of quality packaging to the fast-moving consumer goods markets of the world. But let me stop talking and let me now introduce you to the company through a video.
I'm Malcolm Waugh. I'm Chief Executive of Frugalpac. Been with the company just coming up to 4 years and very proud to be leading the organisation. So what is the Frugal bottle? The Frugal bottle is a paper bottle. It's made of 94% recycled paperboard. It's 84% paper by weight. There's 16% plastic pouch in the bottle that enables us to utilise paper. The benefits of the Frugal bottle: 6 times less carbon than your average wine bottle, 5 times lighter than your average wine bottle, easily recyclable, and stands out on shelf far beyond any other packaging format within the space at this moment in time.
When I first saw it, I thought, how cool is this? Quite bonkers, but made an awful lot of sense at the same time.
Frugalpac's a young business, full of young, enthusiastic people. We aim to deal with the problems that are created in FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods packaging, by trying to reduce as much carbon loadings that are caused by other forms of packaging, and also everything we do, we aim to make it as recyclable as possible.
I believe the Frugal bottle has excellent export potential. The bottle itself is on par with glass in terms of price, but allows people to realise their ambitions to massively decarbonise their packaging. It massively enhances their branding allowing them to print over the entire bottle, and it allows them to make use of locally sourced resources. We're not moving heavy glass into different regions. We're allowing people to locate our machines close to where the wine is grown, and use their local printers to print their own paperboard, to injection mould their own components, and use local film supplies to produce the pouch of the bottle.
The reaction has been so positive, it's been unbelievable. And we've had interest from all around the world. Literally, I couldn't name a country that we haven't heard from. And a lot of all the major continents have been extremely interested, and we're just inundated with demand.
Frugalpac is looking fantastic. It's really around speed now and meeting the market need. It's proven now that people want this bottle. Every single person that's held our bottle doesn't put our bottle down. Every brand owner, every marketeer, once the bottle's in their hand, it's sold. It's now how we meet the market need and how we ramp up production of not only the machines that you see behind me, but also the next higher speed, faster, more configurable, more flexible version of the machines behind, so that we can meet the growing need for different bottle sizes, different bottle shapes.
The frugal bottle revolution is here. It's really beginning to happen. Some may say it's a flash in the pan, but we really believe, and we're seeing the traction, and for us, you can launch novel products and people will buy novel things, but they'll buy them one time only. And our key measurement is repeat purchase. And any of our customers that launch the frugal bottle, we measure their repeat sales, and we see it every time. Our key launch partner, probably 700% up in terms of the volume that they're producing in the marketplace today. And that's not just one-time purchase. Those are people coming back because they enjoy the package, they see the benefits that it's bringing to it, and the product within the package is delivering to their needs. So it's Frugalpac working hand in hand with our customers to deliver more to the consumer. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our introduction to Frugalpac. And also, if I may introduce to you now, Paula Kendall, who's our commercial manager.
Hi.
And John Paul Grogan, our product director.
Hi.
So we'll have a little bit of an interactive approach to our presentation to you today. So I'd like to talk about the Frugal Bottle and the cross-value value chain collaboration that we believe the Frugal Bottle is bringing to the marketplace. And probably John Paul's best to explain that using the materials that we have to make up the bottle.
Okay, so essentially the bottle's made of three components. We have a front, a back, and we have a small paper disc that goes in the base of the bottle. The bottle is comprised mostly of recycled paperboard, so all of the various areas where the bottle will be sold will have some form of paper recycling collection, and a manufacturer within their vicinity will be able to reproduce a recycled paperboard. The paperboard that we use is around 1.2 millimeters thick, and can be printed to any artwork that the customer chooses. So the customer will, in their own respective areas, will design their own artworks, get them printed locally, and then use the machine, the Frugal Bottle machine, to manufacture the bottle.
So from a local perspective, what we believe will be happening now is actually we're going to put value back into those local communities. Big business has effectively stripped it all out. If you look at the incumbent package, glass particularly, probably was a glass maker in every region of the world that was making wine, but industrialization, looking for profitability, efficiencies, in the old way of thinking was very much about consolidation. So now we've got very large factories around the world making glass bottles, but they're not necessarily located anywhere near where the wine now is being filled. And what we believe is that there probably will be print shops, certainly within miles of where the wine's being packed, so we can actually put back value into those local communities. Maybe the pouch is a little bit more specialized, but certainly in each country we're confident that there will be pouch production going on. It's a mainstream product. Why couldn't local businesses be making the Frugal pouch? So thank you very much for that introduction there, JP, to the Frugal Bottle. Moving on, one thing that we think is disruptive, in fact we know so because we're being told so, is the business model that we're adapting. And the Frugal Bottle machine
while sitting here in Ipswich, which is really our shop window to sell the product into the marketplace and also to be producing the Frugal bottles to sell into the market. We don't want those machines sitting here. We want them out in the marketplace. Again, much like the production of the packaging dry goods to make the Frugal bottle, we want the machines sitting right in the heart of the wineries, the distilleries, the olive oil packing plants. And the reason we want that is it drives carbon down even further. So we have a 5-to-1 ratio in terms of the raw materials that the Frugal bottle uses when put on a pallet, as opposed to, and even if it's a Frugal bottle, glass bottle, a plastic bottle, you're only going to get 1,000 of these generally onto one pallet. So there's a 5-to-1 ratio that starts to drive further carbon reduction.
And of course the machine itself, Malcolm, as you know, has been designed to really supplant where the glass bottles are being stored. I mean, people were sat there with the glass bottles filling up all these warehouses. Well, that's a perfect opportunity for us to land the machine. The machine's designed to operate in a lot of the wine growing regions. We know these can get quite hot. The raw materials, the machines, all the parameters are set in that it can run at those high temperatures. The glue is stable in all those temperatures that we use to bond the bottle together. And we test the storage and transport conditions of the bottle that they can withstand the environment that they're in.
And as I say, the machine now is our model is one of selling the machine to the marketplace, and then actually we take a manufacturing license or offer a manufacturing license with the machine, and for that we take a royalty. From a machine perspective, we're not actually looking to profiteer significantly. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're not getting a return on what we're doing, but it's not as a machine supplier would sell machines. Our ultimate return on our huge investments in developing the Frugal bottle will come from the manufacturing licenses, and that makes the barrier to entry lower for mid to large size businesses to enter into the Frugal bottle, but also it means that we are partners, a word that's very much overused in business, but at its most basic, if the machine is not making bottles or the bottles aren't being sold in the market, we Frugalpac aren't going to be making any money. So that forms a nice way to form a partnership. Clearly, the customer is always king in any relationship, and we have to support our customer base in order to take the Frugal bottle into the consumer market. So Paula, maybe you could just give us an overview in terms of the interest that we're getting on the machine systems at the moment. We're up to over how many inquiries?
About 80 inquiries on the machines, and we're probably close to 2,000 on the bottles. We're every day we're getting inquiries, new people approaching us from all over the world, as I said in the other video. And I think they're probably about now we're looking at least probably 30 inquiries a day for bottles from new customers, new inquiries. And so the machines probably not quite so many, but certainly on the increase.
And from the collaboration perspective, we're seeing so many different types of customers come in. So who you would expect would be the brand owners and the fillers, and clearly they've got a high interest in what we're doing. But also the contract packers are clearly engaged in this, because they're getting a lot of inbound inquiries from small to medium wineries or the big brand owners wanting to diversify their brands and ranges, and maybe not wanting to bring that in-house to begin. So another channel is the contract packers, but also packaging businesses. The Frugal bottle is offering quite a high return to anybody looking to invest in a Frugal bottle machine and supply packaging into the local markets. What ideally we don't want to happen is that the Frugal bottle machine ends up in a market and is exported halfway across the world to fulfill business. That's probably how we're going to have to start, but ultimately the vision is that there's machines certainly in every market producing locally.
I think we've even seen manufacturers of the raw materials also interested in the machines and our technology, and I think they see it as another big outlet for things like the paperboard and the flexibles. So yeah, they're very interested in supporting our business.
Just diversifying, aren't they?
Yeah, everyone wants another outlet for their raw material, and Frugal bottle is a novel one.
And Paula, you were at the start of the process when getting involved commercially with Frugal bottle. Can you elaborate a little bit on what you're seeing from the design fraternity in the world out there in terms of creativity? And
yeah, we always very much look forward to when the new artwork comes in, and we have our own opinions, which is, as Malcolm reminds me, has got nothing to do with us. We're just making the bottle. But people are using it more and more, and you can see the whole branding all the way around the bottle, and including the base, and also including the neck label. And people are getting much more in tune to, as things develop, to actually use their artwork right on the bottle. So any kind of sort of creases around the neck can be camouflaged with artwork, because at the end of the day we are reforming paper into a bottle shape. So we've got some, you can see the bottles here, there's some great designs that we that do just that, to enhance the bottle and to really stand out on the shelf, to make the purchaser pick it up and put it in their trolley.
I think people started off going to traditional label designers, and I think some of the early designs started off quite conservative, but I think now people have realised that the blank canvas is just that, the blank canvas, and we're really starting to... they're really starting to utilise the entire surface to communicate their brand, even relegating barcodes to the bottom of the bottle to again maximise their communications to the customer and the on-shelf impact.
It's exciting to see the changes, isn't it?
And coming back to the business model, the other thing that Frugalpac is adamant it is going to live by is where we're not adding value, we're not going to try and sell or cajole people into products. So investment in a Frugal bottle machine brings with it all our know-how in terms of the materials, and we hand those over to our customer base so that they are able to source locally, as we've described, but also if we were the only supplier of the print, we also then would constrain the industry into the way that it thinks. And maybe, John Paul, you can elaborate on all the different formats that the Frugal bottle can be used, including some of the decoration that could be available just in the world of print and finish.
Absolutely. I mean, we offer digital printing. We've proven out the technology of digital print, which works very, very well for smaller quantities. Then litho, it's absolutely possible to print the bottle using traditional litho technologies, either CMYK, spot colours, or a combination of both. We know that we can foil emboss into the surface of the paper board and also provide emboss and deboss into the surface. I haven't done too much on that, but it would be very interesting to see how that stands out on shelf, start embossing, create textural effects on the bottle itself.
Thanks. So through this approach, we really believe this is the way to scale a disruptive technology. Rather than trying to keep it all in-house and keep it all very secret, we are loosely an open innovation. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's completely open. All our IP and the support for the bottle is based really in the machine and in some instances the bottle itself. But we are passionate about getting this product into the market and assisting our customer base to do so. In terms of the market response to what's been going on, it again has been phenomenal. As a word that we now like to use from Paula from the video is bonkers for those that understand that, if you don't, look it up. But we are extremely busy with inquiries, and those inquiries now are really turning into orders. I don't know if you want to describe some of the customers that you're dealing with on a regular basis, Paula?
Well, there's spirit companies, obviously various wine companies. My job is kind of dealing with the customer all the way through the process. There's always lots of technical information that we're providing all the time, which I get help from these two on when I don't know the answer. We're just continue progressing. What we're having issues probably at the moment is trying to keep up with demand, because it's just people want the bottle and they want it as soon as possible, and we're just trying to fulfill that to the best we can.
Which is an excellent segue into, there's a great opportunity for anybody that wants to invest in a Frugal bottle machine. Who's your favourite customer? Yeah, you're not allowed to answer.
I'm not allowed to answer.
So from a market response, extremely positive. And also what's happening in the world today in terms of energy and coming back to value chain and distribution. The Frugal bottle is its true colours are really being seen by the marketplace, because we talk about local manufacturing, We talk about local supply chains, and if we talk about the marketplace that we are looking to disrupt, predominantly within the incumbent packaging, that is suffering considerably from huge energy costs to produce the product and huge distribution costs because of this consolidation that's happened in the marketplace. So we are seeing a very large and positive response to bringing light engineering for producing wine packaging away from that heavy industrial way of really, the old-fashioned way of doing it. So this is something new, it's something alternative. We appreciate it's not going to appeal to all, and we also appreciate it's a slow burn to take it into any form of sort of market share, but it's here, it is working, and the world is turning towards the frugal bottle revolution. So thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Bye.
We'll now take a short Ryanair flight to Gothenburg, Sweden to connect with Chief Commercial Officer Sanna Fager and her colleague Sebastian Roos, Chief Technical Officer of PulPac. PulPac has developed a patented, groundbreaking technology for high-performance fiber packaging that replaces single-use plastics. Dry molded fiber is up to 10 times faster than traditional fiber forming methods and is offered to converters that want to shift to a sustainable fiber-based packaging solution with highly competitive unit economics.
Hi, my name is Sanna Fager and I'm Head of Commercial here at PulPac.
And I'm Sebastian Roos, I'm Head of Technology.
Today we will talk about how our technology, dry molded fibers, in this changing landscape that we all are a part of, can enable a shift that is good for both our planet, the customers and the business.
And we will let you in on how the technology works, touch on our most recent progress on sustainable barriers for dry molded fiber and how to use this competitive technology and how this can lead to a new world standard of sustainable single-use packaging.
Because, to navigate a new landscape, that is what everyone needs to do today. That is why, for example, this summit is so important. We need to share our stories, our technology, and learn from each other. Because, for decades, plastic have been a natural part of everyday life. However, today we are seeing the drawbacks of the usage of plastic, and solving this problem of plastic pollutions has become a top priority for governments, brands, industry and the consumers.
Yes, and actually 78 million tons of plastic packaging is produced every year. And if we look at a common product like a plastic lid, more of 300 billion items are produced each year. Many of them ends up as litter in the world's oceans. And in fact, 72% of plastic packaging ends up in nature.
The shift towards sustainable packaging solution and away from plastic needs to happen in a very near future. We know that people are asking for new solutions for packaging and for single-use products that just make a good sense. We also know that there is no one-size-fits-all solutions, so we need various incentives and collaboration to win this race for sustainable packaging. And that's also why the packaging industry needs to navigate through this new landscape already today.
Yes, and the opportunities to replace plastics aren't that many, and fiber-based alternatives have the upper hand. But bowls, cutleries, cups, any packaging that is in contact with food needs a barrier to prevent water and oil from leaking through, and to do so without the use of fluorochemicals or forever chemicals to hold out water and grease.
So, if another key challenge to enable the shift towards sustainable packaging is also the cost structure of these parts. We know that margins for commodity items are narrow, so the unit economics also need to be right to really drive the change.
So by combining familiar and well-proven systems and technologies in a new way, PulPac invented fiber forming that uses air instead of water to mold the fibers and to carry them through the process. This enabling manufacturing speeds up to 10 times faster than conventional molding. And in addition to saving valuable water and energy resources, the dry process also gives up to 80% less CO2 emissions and at unit economy compared to plastic converting. And here we are standing next to our production platform which we call Modular. And before giving you a walkthrough of the process, we would like to give you a quick glance of how the technology works.
Dry molded fiber is not a material, nor a machine or a product. It's a technology, a method like a wet molding or a pressed paper. It's also a patent technology, and we as PulPac are the technology owner of dry molded fiber. And our model here is to share the technology with everyone that wants to contribute to a sustainable future. Our global IP covers today 26 patent families with broad patent claims and parameters that covers both the entire process and details. And everything here is to enable the licensee to make the shift to fibers and away from plastic.
Yes, and partnering with PulPac does not only give the right for commercial production, it also gives us access to research, to our research and development team, patent application, know-how, supply chain, and also tooling partners, etc. And based on the core IP, PulPac has developed a complete technology platform covering multiple areas of application, manufacturing, and machine solutions, as the PulPac Modular right here. The raw material used is pulp, a commodity item developed over decades and globally available. Chemical pulp is the standard raw material, but the process can handle other types of cellulose-based materials as well. And the pulp is fed into a mill that breaks it up into separate fibers. Fibers are transported by air to a vacuum belt to create a ductile air-laid web. The process enables complete control of the fiber distribution and thickness. The web is coated with a barrier additive and laminated with a tissue on either side. The barriers or additives are chosen based on the demand of the products. The tissue adds a clean surface, process stability, and could be used for coloring or patterning surfaces of the parts. The web is fed into a press where the parts are molded in forming tools, using pressure and heat. Once those elements are reached, the part is done, form stable, and can be picked up, stacked, and packed. The press is standard equipment used in the industry today, but with unique design tools. And the trim waste that we end up with is recycled in line, and the material efficiency is up to 99%.
Yep. The PulPac Modular, it's a standardized machine platform that we have developed together with partners. And the machine is today offered by PulPac machine partners as a turnkey solution to our licensees. And among others, ABInBEV Group in France are today setting up their line.
And the actual physical molding time of the machine that we have right here is actually below 0.5 seconds. And the total cycle time is 3.5 seconds, where most of that time is automation. That means that one of these production lines can produce with very high outputs, giving annually 250 million cutlery items, or 55 million food trays, or 180 million cup lids.
Our goal is to establish dry molded fiber as a world standard for sustainable packaging. And together with the industry, we are aiming of having replaced 1 million tons of plastic by 2025 and then onwards. So by collaborating, we can transform this industry from within in just a few years, which is needed to really address the plastic pollution, as we talked about in the beginning. And to do this, and to be able to really do this, we know and we believe that we need to do this by simplicity and efficiency, not to reinvent, but to leverage what is already out there as far as possible.
Yes, and we are building a community for dry molded fiber, a global value chain of industry leaders within application development, tooling, materials, barriers, machinery and know-how, supporting the converters who makes the shift and enabling the brands to keep up with their promises, and at the end saving our planet from plastic pollution. And in this community, PulPac is the technology hub with the core competence within dry molded fiber and continuously developing this technology.
And to further facilitate the shift towards dry molded fiber, we are launching a program for standardized products that we call highway products. The highway products are fully developed and standardized in all ways, such as tool design and material composition, and they are then offered as a packaging including supply chain with machinery and materials to our licensees. And we are doing this in order to help our clients, as the ultimate proof of any technology is of course the use of it. I mean the parts that can be produced with it. So what we need to do is, together with our clients, we need to translate this technology into products.
Yes, and it is important to challenge product specifications as well when shifting from plastics into fiber. The performance of a product should not be over-engineered. It should be designed for its purpose. A coffee lid, for example, it should be fully functioning for a few hours. And if it starts to softening hours after it has been used, it's not a drawback, it's a sustainability necessity.
Single-use products should be designed for circular economy. They should fit well into their recycling streams, but of course if misplaced, they should biodegrade. Here, using sustainable barrier is key, and the dry process enables new way of applying barriers compared to other existing fiber forming methods, especially as we can do this in line with spray-on, laminates or other type of application methods.
And the development of barriers adapted for the dry molded fiber process is an important part of our R&D. And besides an internal division of experts and PhDs, PulPac has partnered with industry leaders such as Solenis, OrganoClick, and most recently HSMG, all experts in their field to find the best solution.
The dry molded fiber technology also has unique forming capabilities, meaning new possibilities for product features. So undercuts, snap fist, denesting feature and stacking means that the products can fit into current handling system, which is one functionality where it makes sense to mimic the plastic product as far as possible.
So, to conclude, the dry molded fiber presents a successful combination that enables a shift towards fiber-based packaging for food contact. It's a high output process giving very competitive unit economics. It's a unique forming capabilities method, meaning new possibilities for product features. It's resource efficient when it comes to materials, energy, water, and also building on what's already available in the world, including present supply chain. And also a new way and a whole new arena of how to apply barriers in line.
We are devoted to the R&D of this technology with the aim to make it available and accessible. We do it through licensing and through building a supply chain for all the different aspects of the technology. Also by continuously broaden the scope of our market-ready products. This is our role, and together we can replace single-use plastic at a scale.
And all of you participating in this summit represents one part of the value chain for the packaging solution. And you are the ones that we would like to reach out to further evolve this technology and help our customers to scale their business.
And if you are a converter looking at dry molded fiber, we will be your steady partner throughout the process. With our in-house capabilities, we can help you to take your specific product to the market. We do everything from first design concept through application development, product refinement, tool production, and all the way up to sample production and bridge volumes.
Yes, and quick service restaurant Max Burgers will start to roll out dry molded fiber coffee lids in all of their 140 plus restaurants in Sweden this year. Also, we would like to credit our client Scandicor that now can offer their clients a completely plastic-free and fiber-based tube lid. And both of these products will reach the market this year, and bridge volumes will be manufactured here by PulPac.
So don't hesitate to reach out if you would like to know more how you can apply dry molded fiber into your business. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're now going to leave Europe and make our way over to New Jersey to meet Tom Saki. For those of you who know Tom, he is a dynamic speaker and a highly skilled at finding discarded packaging solutions and turning them into their next life. Today, Tom will address the urgent need to scale recycling to reuse. 2025 is just around the corner, and we are getting closer to corporate packaging commitments of recyclable, compostable, or reusable. With less than 33 months to go, Tom will ask how we practically scale future innovations like reuse. How do we achieve practical recyclability? What is the role of compostables?
Hi, I'm Tom Saki, founder and CEO of TerraCycle. I want to thank PAC Global for having me today. You know, we're in 2022, and this marks a major turning point in the global effort to address packaging waste. For the first time in history, nearly 200 countries have committed to negotiating a global United Nations treaty on plastic pollution. We're also rapidly approaching the year 2025, which has become a near universal deadline for brands and retailers that have set goals for their packaging to be 100% recyclable, compostable, or reusable. And yet, there's really concerning reports coming from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, and a whole host of other global authorities highlighting that plastic use and consumption continue to rise unabated, with global plastic production now more than doubling in the past few years alone. Further, practical and especially broad-scaled implementations of circular solutions ranging from recycling to reuse remain unfortunately limited. We are already halfway through 2022, and we have less than 33 months to go before we reach 2025. With nearly 90% of companies' 2025 goals projected to be unmet by this deadline, how can we achieve circular packaging commitments on time and not create profound stakeholder disappointment, and from there, distrust in the industry? How do we unlock practical recycling at scale? And what are the role compostables play in packaging solutions? And how can we promote full circularity by scaling up innovations like reuse? To start, let's address with the biggest challenge we face, which is how to balance all of these essential aspects of sustainability at once and with urgency. You know, unfortunately, we no longer have the luxury of time to take each of these initiatives one by one, or hope that external actions, like something that will build magical infrastructure that will produce a silver bullet, will come to life in this short period of time. Therefore, it is essential to consider these as overlapping priorities. There's an opportunity for all businesses to make practical changes necessary to reach their 2025 goals, regardless of where they are in their sustainability journey. And I'm here today to present you with 3 ideas. The first one, we must move from thinking about technical recyclability to a laser focus on practical recyclability, and in the process integrate recycled content into our products. It is alarmingly clear that we need to scale up recycling solutions as the primary focus on this problem. And many companies have shared their commitments to making their packaging 100% recyclable in the next 5 or 10 years. However, most organizations are focusing their efforts on making their products and packages technically recyclable, through changes such as switching from multi-layer laminates to mono-layer materials. Sometimes that's called recycle ready. Technically, any product or package today can be recycled without any of these changes. Not to say these changes aren't good, but they can be recycled today. In fact, almost everything is technically recyclable today. Whether or not a product or package is actually recycled, practical recyclability lies entirely in its underlying economics. So, materials such as aluminum, uncoated paper, number 1 PET and number 2 plastic HDPE are almost universally recycled practically because the cost of collecting and processing them is less than the value of the material. Real-world economics demand that recycling will only occur if the cost of collection and processing is less than the value the material is worth. So when we think about the definition of recyclability, instead of answering the question, can this package or product be recycled, we need to focus on, will it actually be collected and recycled? And this is dependent not just on the technical capacity to recycle a waste stream, but much more importantly, on whether it's profitable for your local waste management company to carry that out. So, how do we achieve practical recyclability? For hard-to-recycle products and packages, where the cost of collection and processing is greater than the resulting material value, there are 3 solutions to consider. First, increase the value of the package. Put in more value, make it from more valuable materials. Manufacturers can design enough value into packaging, for example, to make the business equation profitable for recyclers to bother collecting and processing it. Now, the issue here is that this is inverse to the major today mega packaging trend of decreasing value, removing value out of packaging. The second option is we can increase system-wide funding with extended product responsibility or EPR and or deposit return schemes, DRS type legislations. Effectively, governments can tax producers to create funding pools that would allow and help finance the cost of recycling waste. Now, in practice, as we look to Europe, EPR typically helps improve recycling for more traditional waste streams like PET bottles or glass, but does not do much for more challenging to recycle waste streams where the EPR funding is not enough to make it profitable to recycle. The third option is VPR, or voluntary product responsibility. Here at TerraCycle, this is what we do, we unlock the ability to practically recycle by voluntarily working with partners who are willing to fund the costs. The key to unlocking recycling at scale in voluntary systems, and not to keep them symbolic, is to generate more measurable value or ROI than cost. This is so that the funding of recycling becomes a benefit to the funding stakeholder. It is possible to achieve strong recycling rates with VPR. With L'Oreal in China, for example, today we collect and recycle 20% of all the Lancôme packaging they put out into the market. Or in Canada, with Nespresso, we've achieved over 30% recycling rates for all the coffee capsules sold in Canada. These recycling programs reach sizes competitive or greater than municipal recycling because the funders see recycling as a value driver in the form of increased foot traffic to their stores perhaps, or consumer acquisition and retention, differentiation from competitors, and other measurable ROI. For example, as a recent trend in the past year, we've now started partnering with dozens of retailers to launch indoor and outdoor multi-waste stream recycling kiosks, where individual brands fund the recycling for their category in exchange for some form of benefit inside the store, like an incremental end cap. For example, in France with Monoprix, we've launched bathroom waste recycling, where Unilever funds oral care waste, P&G, blades and razors, and L'Oreal funding cosmetics of any brand can be collected and recycled. We've also launched large outdoor recycling hubs at Walmart in the US recently, where consumers can recycle 12 different waste streams, ranging from toys to pet food bags. These multi-waste stream systems provide clear communication and separation by specific waste stream, which helps decrease contamination, increase purity, and that allows all of the stuff to be recycled locally. This approach is especially valuable as brands are taking varying approaches with their packaging strategies. So take a category like energy bars. We're moving from everyone using multi-layer petrochemical packaging to some people switching to monolayer, some remaining in multi-layer, and others switching to compostables. As consumers start to leverage systems such as grocery store drop-off for flexible films like plastic bags, now in addition to contaminated multi-layer, monolayer food packaging or compostable wrappers, the challenge is these are not distinguishable. And it will become increasingly challenging for retailers to deliver on practical recycling for things like flexibles. While the concept of compostable or biodegradable packaging is increasingly attractive to consumers, we have to look practically. Because today there is very limited access to composters who want to take this material in their feedstock. In the United States, for example, there are only a handful of cities that have capacity to industrially compost biodegradable plastics. And because an average consumer or waste hauler can't tell the difference between a compostable or a petrochemical granola wrapper, it's going to create a lot of contamination. The compostables are going to end up in the recycling stream, and the non-compostables will end up in the composting stream. So when brands are developing packaging for recyclability, the key is to focus on what type of waste and material the infrastructure would like to accept. So get in touch with the local waste management companies in the regions you're serving and see what type of materials they're looking for, and design your products and packaging with that in mind. And finally, in this first solution, to achieve practical recyclability, we must ensure that recycled materials are not lost from the supply chain and are prioritized in making of new products and packaging. Many of the world's largest companies have included the use of recycled plastics in their 2025 sustainability goals. But the truth is that the demand for PCR plastic is already wildly outpacing its supply. If all brands are to achieve their PCR commitments, it is important to consider alternative sources of PCR and especially reevaluate what is acceptable as your input. For example, why accept only clear, recycled food-grade PET for a product that will have color added to it and be used in a non-food grade application like a shampoo bottle? Innovation and rethinking packaging and product design will help further scale recycling by creating demand for other forms of post-consumer waste that are not collected at recyclers today. The second solution, we have to scale reuse. Reuse is a categorical move upward in the waste hierarchy compared to recycling, as it extends the usable life of products and packaging in their current form, enabling them to be enjoyed by the next consumer and the following and the following. And this doesn't just offset the production of new products or packages made from virgin materials, but also has a significant climate change benefit in the form of greenhouse gas reductions. What's interesting about reuse is that it's already here at scale today. It's the beer industry in Germany and Canada, or reusable pallets in the B2B sector, or our propane tanks and beer kegs. What these scaled models of reuse have in common is they're all done via pre-fill reuse versus consumer fill, which allows the consumer to buy filled products and return the empties, which can then enter the reuse supply chain instead of recycling, landfilling, or incineration. Now, the challenge with these existing pre-fill models, however, is that they do not interact with each other. They effectively operate as mono supply chains. So when your propane tank is empty, you can't take it to the beer store, and vice versa. And this is what we aim to address with Loop, which is a global platform for reuse dedicated to the idea of buy anywhere and return anywhere. Today's citizens can enter their favorite retailers like Tesco in the UK, Carrefour in France, Aeon in Japan, Kroger in the US, and find a portion of the store dedicated to Loop, with products from leading brands such as Nestle, P&G, and now over 200 CPG companies reimagined in reusable packaging. We've also welcomed quick-serve restaurants like McDonald's in the UK, or Restaurant Brands International, RBI, which is now live with Burger King in the US and the UK. To purchase a product in a reusable container, the consumer pays a deposit, which is refunded in full upon return. Once packaging is empty, it can be returned to any Loop retail partner via the Loop return point. We've found that consumers enjoy the convenience of purchasing pre-filled products where they typically shop, as it mimics the experience of purchasing disposable products today. And this is the key to practically scaling reuse. We must make reuse feel like disposability. We know that consumers are excited about reuse, and we've seen that they are willing to pay deposits even as high as $10 on a package, noting most deposits are like 10, 20, 30, 40 cents, knowing that it's going to be refunded in full upon return. But to truly scale reuse, well, we must make reuse just as convenient and accessible to consumers as single use is today. And there are two key ways that brands and retailers who want to lead this transition can help drive the shift. We need to create more distribution and return points by adding more stores and by growing the variety of products that are available in the system. More brands, more stores. Just as when buying organic, consumers want a range of items to choose from so that they can fully live their life in reuse. So when one piece of the system grows, adoption of the entire system grows. And this leads me to the third and perhaps most important solution. We have to buy less. I'd like to leave you with this final thought. The single most effective thing we can do to address the global waste challenge, and frankly almost every other environmental challenge to boot, is to reduce our overall consumption. Now, everyone has a role. Brands, retailers, packaging engineers, consumers, policymakers all have a unique role to play to extend the useful life of products and their packaging, to promote buying less, and ensure circular post-use solutions are practical, convenient, and widely accessible to all. Thank you.
Now we will fly out to Winnipeg, Canada, to the home of Winpak. There we will meet packaging engineer Ronaldo Pina, who will share Winpak's latest innovations involving recycle-ready, flexible materials that are a solution to the Consumer Goods Forum Golden Design Rules, a very, very good innovation.
Hello everyone. Today we are delighted to accept PAC Global's invitation to join you all over the world to share with you how here at Winpak we are working towards disrupting the thermoforming flexible films industry with new and exciting offerings. My name is Reinaldo Pina and I am Winpak's product manager for multi-barrier films. Based in Winnipeg, Manitoba, I closely work every day with our commercial and technical teams across North America to develop the best flexible packaging solution for our customers. Before diving into details, let me introduce you to Winpak. Winpak is a Canadian company based in Winnipeg, Manitoba, focused on the manufacturing of high-quality packaging materials, both rigid and flexible, and innovative packaging machines. We have multiple sites operating in Canada, United States, and Mexico, serving customers throughout North and South America. As a leading packaging supplier, we innovate and produce essential packaging for some critical and important markets. Those markets include dairy, protein, food and beverage, and healthcare packaging, along with our packaging machinery division. And each of these markets is not immune from climate change and trying to improve the sustainability of its packaging. Our capabilities are diverse. Due to the markets our customers participate in, we often deal in fresh foods or critical medical products that rely on packaging to extend shelf life, along with maintaining product safety and quality. From multi-layer film extrusion to machinery design and fabrication to everything in between like pouches, shrink bags, and rigid containers, we challenge our teams to innovate continuously in the service of our customers. Stemming from our vision statement, which is to provide the best packaging solutions for people and planet, we have 4 sustainability pillars and goals within those pillars to guide us on this path. Today, the innovation we will learn about focuses on our efforts in our growing as a value partner pillar, in our planet for future generations pillar. Winpak's disruptive technology is in our product line of new sustainable thermoforming films called Reform. And the Reform thermoforming product line is part of a broader platform of innovative packaging materials we call Refresh. This entire platform of forming and non-forming materials, pouches, and flow wrap style substrates not only support our customers' needs for more sustainable solutions by being recycle ready, but they also reduce climate impact by being lower in greenhouse gas emissions. So, with that background and introduction to this innovative packaging solution, let's talk more about our industry. As we all know, the packaging industry faces significant challenges. Focus is in our industry from multiple stakeholders, consumers, NGOs, and governmental entities to name a few, all members of the value chain, resin producers, packaging manufacturers, brands, and retailers experience these challenges. Some of the most important ones we identify are, first, getting better at end-of-life management. The flexible plastic packaging volume is estimated at about 68 million tons per year, and very little of it is recycled or recovered. Less than 10% overall of all plastic packaging is recovered and recycled. And when you look at flexible packaging, that percentage drops even further. Better end-of-life management starts with creating packaging materials that are easier to recycle and are desired by the recyclers due to their value in the market. Next, lowering climate change impact. These materials are produced via resource-intensive manufacturing processes using petroleum-based resins. Operational efficiency, waste reduction, and generally following sustainable materials management principles are critical here. Third, reduce reliance on virgin fossil fuels. Setting aside the impact from expected price rises in fossil fuels, these materials are a finite resource. There has also been a demand that brands decouple from virgin plastics to reduce the need to extract virgin resources from the planet. Therefore, the heightened interest in recycled content and/or bio-based materials. And fourth, meeting consumer expectations. For the markets Winpak and its customers participate in, that typically means ensuring food safety, quality, extended shelf life, convenience, and now sustainability. Looking to address those challenges, Winpak has been working on sustainable products in many fronts. Now, not all of these are necessarily disruptive, but in several areas they are transformative. We are introducing post-consumer recycled content in our PET semi-rigid forming films and polypropylene trays. We are also exploring renewable materials and recently launched our fiber-based EcoWrap flow wrap packaging. Our new line of recycle-ready products called Refresh is comprised of 5 different materials. Repouch for pouching needs, Relid for leading materials, Reflow for flow pack applications, and Relam and Reform as our thermoforming top and bottom materials. We believe Refresh is disruptive because it changes the game through the value chain. These innovations help us. They support our customers in meeting their goals. They support retailers and they support a circular economy by being recycle ready. Let's learn more about Reform and Relam specifically. Okay, here's where we start. A recycle-ready thermoforming material Reform is currently produced on equipment dedicated exclusively to the production of recycle-ready films. A couple of years ago,
Winpak decided to make a multi-million-dollar investment on brand new technology that allows us to manufacture these materials from 75 to 250 microns at high yield, maximizing productivity and providing excellent quality. Our goal was to apply sustainable material management principles in the development and production of these films. This line was commercialized last year, and among its many features has been an inline trim recovery system supporting our zero landfill waste initiative and in keeping with sustainable manufacturing principles. This incorporation of trim scrap is disruptive in high barrier food packaging. Typically, multi-barrier films are not only multi-layer, but they are multi-material. These disparate materials are not easily mixed, and therefore, trim scrap cannot typically be added back into the operation. This means a potential loss of material. Reform is high polyolefin content, even though it has excellent barrier properties. We are able to take our trim scrap and incorporate it back into the extrusion process, therefore reducing waste in the system. This is both disruptive and efficient. And we're not stopping there. By the end of this year, we're adding new capital and expect to be able to offer printing and specialized coating capabilities on Reform. And what recycle-ready forming film will be complete with automated hot web? Winpak's recycle-ready non-forming web, Relamp, was developed using the latest technology in polyolefin films and is the perfect complement for Reform, offering a full package solution for thermoforming applications. Relamp is already fully printable and available in multiple gauges, from 65 to 125 microns.
So, as positive as those developments are for our own process, the critical part is performance in our customers' operations. Moving to our packaging lab here, where we test our materials to guarantee the best performance in the field. Here, you can see our Reform and Relamp in action. Both materials have been designed to perform on high-speed thermoforming machines. Our customers regularly tell us the following is critical for their operation. Operate at high speeds. Maintain high machine utilization, meaning no film breaks that stop equipment. Maintain high yields on the line, which means proper sealing and no defective packages. And the marketers for our customers tell us it is important to have extended shelf life, which our films provide for ultra-high barrier properties. And it is important to maintain good optics both for print and product appearance. Reform and Relamp check the boxes for these key features as well.
Let's now see how these materials address those challenges we spoke about earlier. First, improving end-of-life management for plastic packaging. Reform and Relamp look to address this challenge head-on by following the golden design rules by the Consumer Goods Forum. Specifically, talking about rule number 6, which aims to maximize recycle value for flexible packaging. As these structures are based on a mono-material design approach, they are well suited for existing store drop-off programs as well as when recycle infrastructure is able to accept flexible packaging at curbside and at large scale. As the adoption of these rules continues to grow around the world, our materials are well positioned to provide our customers a reliable choice when it comes to complying with these new sets of standards. The Canada Plastics PAC and its member companies have recently adopted these rules. Other regions have already similar systems in place to help manufacturers design new packaging solutions. Second, reducing overall climate change impact, Reform and Relamp provide a significant reduction in greenhouse gases when comparing to the incumbent multi-material films. The polyolefin-based structures are made with materials that have a lower carbon footprint, making them ideal for decreasing the environmental impact of the packages made with them. Based on life cycle analysis studies, the benefits are not only in greenhouse gas emissions, which could be reduced at least 30%, but also in energy needs, water usage, and better yields when it comes to lower weight per surface area. These benefits align very well with corporate sustainability goals that look to decrease the environmental impact of many products. Packaging, being an integral part of the product, is a great way to achieve progress on those environmental objectives for many companies. Third, reducing reliance on fossil fuels. As I noted in earlier slides, these new films are recycle ready. Yes, they are currently more difficult to recycle than rigid containers. However, by following the golden design rules, these films offer the best chance for successful recycling. And companies throughout the value chain, resin manufacturers, packaging suppliers like Winpak, brands, retailers, and recyclers are coming together through trade associations like PAC Global to advance circular infrastructure. The faster we can consistently and reliably introduce post-consumer content into this type of materials, the faster we can reduce the dependence on fossil fuels, which, as we have seen in recent months, are very susceptible to price volatility and supply due to global geopolitics. Lastly, meeting consumer expectations across all aspects is the most important challenge of all. Food safety, product quality, extended shelf life, and convenience. With increasing demand for flexible packaging due to the growth of convenience foods and e-commerce and ongoing supply chain issues and public awareness to food waste as a global problem, it is crucial that we continue to deliver on packaging's main function: protect the product until it reaches the end consumer safely and it allows for consumption use by that consumer. Some parting thoughts. First, support from brand owners and OEMs is needed to help transition successfully from non-recyclable incumbent materials which run in machines designed to run standard multi-barrier structures, not recycle-ready materials. Number two, there is an opportunity to meet sustainability pledges by transitioning to structures compliant with the golden design rules. Future adoption of these rules by plastic packs in more regions will continue to present opportunities to convert. Next, ongoing collaboration with all value chain members is needed to achieve progress towards the development of the circular economy. So, what is next for Reform and Relam? We will continue to improve on our materials, fine-tuning our processes to manufacture the best materials possible in a way that provides maximum packaging performance across machinability, barrier, and appearance properties, while also improving the sustainability performance through use of materials like PCR content. We look forward to continue collaborating with similar initiatives like PAC Global Disruptors Summit and hope you have found this insightful and sparked some ideas on your end. Thank you for watching, and thanks again to PAC Global team for this opportunity.
We're delighted to carry on with this magical mystery tour and at our host organization, Marks, here in Toronto, Canada. And thank you so much to Rob McCarthy and the brilliant team here in this location for hosting this event today. So we're incredibly grateful for that. With us today is Brian Goodpaster, who's the Vice President of Foresight and Cultural Strategy, flown all the way in from Cincinnati. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Jim.
And he's a Marks employee, and he's their shaman when it comes to all things futuristic and trends. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So let's get right into it, Brian. What exactly is a trend?
So I think the term trends has a little bit of baggage. You know, people think about a fashion magazine or hype or things that are kind of, you know, flippant or of the moment. But simply said, trends are just a shift from one thing to another. So it could be something that is, you know, not in the conversation, that's suddenly a big part of the conversation. Could be something that is kind of latent, that's kind of emerging and going to be the next big thing.
So when it comes to different trends, is it one shoe fits all, or, you know, how do we approach this? How do we dissect it?
Good question. So we think broadly about trends having different impact and duration. So they last for different periods of time. So from a mechanics standpoint, aesthetic trends, those are the things that a lot of packaging designers are working with every day, things like color, material, finish, typography, illustration style,
Right.
etc. Those have about a 2 to 3 year duration. These
Okay.
are generally speaking. Then we have macro or category trends. These are things that are 3 to 5 years in duration, and they're things like, you know, retail activations, flavor, fragrance, ingredients. And then we have sociocultural trends. Some people call those macro trends. These are really attitudes and values and belief systems, often things that the category isn't even satisfying yet. Those are 7 to 10 years in duration. And lastly, we have demographic trends. Those are typically 15 years plus in duration. They're representative of shared cultural experiences. So think millennials, boomers, you know, the Latinx market in the United States, things like that.
Okay. So speaking about trends and the world of brands and retailers, how do they deal with this tumultuous world that we're in today?
There's so much that brands and brand makers have to face, so much more that consumers are expecting of brands. Broadly, if we are thinking about trends, those things that are impacting the world in big ways, we think of the acronym STEEP. So it's society, technology, economics, environment, and politics. So STEEP factors.
So how do we think about society in general when it comes to brands in terms of the STEEP model?
Sure. So this again is about, you know, attitudes, values, and belief systems. Surely, you know, the pandemic really affected our outlook on life in many ways. Mental and emotional health came to the fore. And so health and wellness and self-care became really big categories for a lot of brands.
Really?
Spikes in fragrance, people really investing in not just the aesthetics of their home, but the things that kind of brought them peace and brought them calm and reassurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so brands are really stepping into this space.
So a key item in the STEEP model is going to be economics for sure, and disruption is the new normal. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a little bit different today to talk about disruption. It used to be, you know, the outlier, and today it is sort of part of our everyday lives. Disruptive packaging is part of your focus for this conference. I think one of the biggest disruptors that we saw in recent days was the direct-to-consumer or D2C movement. So brands coming from within category, outside of category, sort of skipping the middleman and coming directly into our homes. We were, you know, a little bit reticent to go out into stores, and so during that time, these brands presented themselves, and while they were already part of the conversation, they certainly became a much bigger part of consumers' lives. And it's about, you know, narrative, really. There are opportunities within the D2C format for brands to be more transparent about their policies relative to sustainability, their sourcing, and sort of their mission and how they plan to you know, intersect consumers' lives. It's very different than what you'd see at shelf. I mean, The old rules of, engaging at shelf were things like disruptors, right? The violators. We don't really need any more violators these days. We kind of need things to calm down. So these brands are coming into homes, and they're beautiful. The packaging is colorful, bright, uplifting, and I think it's kind of hitting at a time when we need that sort of sense of calm. We need things to be a little bit lighthearted.
So in the middle of that word is a big E called the environment, and that's certainly been top of mind for the packaging community for a long time. And in fact, some of our storytellers today are going to be very specific to that subject. Let's talk a little bit specifically about that relative to the STEEP model.
Sure. Yep, so there are a lot of designers doing a lot of disruption, innovation in the packaging space relative to the environment, leaning into materiality, new processes and ways of approaching how a brand either is sustainable from a structural standpoint or from a business practice standpoint, looking at their broader, more circular impact. And whether it's D2C or at shelf, paired within these is this incredible opportunity to lean into storytelling, to talk about, your vision, your commitment relative to the environment, and how you're living up to that. I think a really old but great example is the Dawn package.
Tell us about that.
So years ago, when there was the Valdez oil spill, Dawn showed up and used a fairly functional product to come in and help the wildlife. But they really did so in a way that connected their brand's ethos and intersects the emerging culture. This is where our hearts and minds were. We were looking at the oil spill and its impact on our environment, our wildlife, and they showed up in a meaningful way. And so today, the artifact, the package, has that little duck, and it brings forth like pangs for those those moments when we were able to see the brand doing something meaningful to impact the planet.
We've been living this conversation on sustainability for some time in the packaging community. Is it still a trend today?
That's a good question. So remember we talked about those macro movements, those things that were representative of attitudes, values, and belief systems. So as those things move into the mainstream, sometimes they fall off, but sometimes they sustain, so to speak. And the sustainability movement is an example of that. Once a macro trend reaches the top of the curve or matures, it becomes what's known as a movement. And so today we can look at the sustainability movement and multiple trends within that, multiple different ways that this thing has come to life, be it aesthetic or in more holistic ways.
And certainly the sustainability is way more than a trend when we've got all of these global corporations making commitments on sustainability goals through to 2025, 2030. PACs are emerging around the world, and it's all happening and it's still continuing to grow. So I can't believe it's flatlined. It's certainly got to be continuing on this up curve, no?
Yep. So as a movement, it's persisting. We're seeing different things iterate within that movement. Let's look at just the aesthetics alone. So think back to the 90s. Brands like Aveda. It was a little crunchy, a little granola. In some cases, being a sustainable brand meant you weren't that efficacious, or you were more of a value brand. Today, sustainability is really a point of parity. Things have moved from that brown and beige realm aesthetically, where they've moved into the luxury sphere. They are bright and colorful and embracing and lighthearted. So it's interesting at a time when the environmental crisis is so pressing. The ways that sustainability is expressing itself is very different and fresh and new and modern.
And it seems to me that the consumer isn't going to let go of this. I mean, which puts pressure on the brands, right?
I think if we look at the beauty sector alone, sustainability is really table stakes. So if we think about faster moving categories informing slower moving categories, we can look at that as a signpost and expect analogous behaviors in things ranging from regular household products to pet food.
Brian, we talked about D2C, but how does that really impact the retailer?
Sure. So, consumers are really buying and shopping differently. They did before the pandemic, but certainly the pandemic accelerated this. They're sort of buying things that are coming directly into their home. And so it really puts a different set of requirements on the retailer. How will you be shopping? Okay. I think one of the really interesting fallouts from this whole period has been how much more engaged in home cooking consumers have become. I mean, people that never cooked are suddenly becoming novice bakers. And then people that might have dabbled are now becoming serious foodies. So it turns out that a lot of grocers are actually taking notice because consumers are expecting higher quality ingredients and a greater diversity of ingredients. So a few savvy outliers have decided to sort of upskill their staff. These staff members are now able to guide these newfound foodies through their retail spaces. And so that's one example of sort of leveling up your engagement in retail, but I think we can look at similar things to follow.
I think that, when I go into a grocery store, I used to be able to buy Tide or paper towel or whatever, but now you literally can go in there and you can buy your dinner. You can buy, and there's lots of options and lots of choices, right across the counter.
Yeah, and if supply chain disruption issues persist, how, when, and where we buy could be entirely different than they are today. Imagine if we combine autonomous travel with sensors, and it becomes sort of an interconnected system. Suddenly you're moving not only people, but products, services. I think we can always look at emerging technologies as signposts for what's ahead. We can look at multiple technologies kind of colliding and what that might mean. So we all have been talking for years about autonomous travel, and more so in the way that you and I might go from here to there. But imagine that as part of our supply chain solution. So imagine autonomous automobiles and the Internet of Things, a sensorful world, which may include packaging. Suddenly you have not only people, but products and services moving interchangeably as part of a big dynamic system. So your Tide bottle might show up very differently tomorrow than it does today.
And certainly one of the things that we're seeing is that brands are trying to talk to the consumer right from the store shelf with digitization and being able to go to your phone and finding out information from the click of your telephone, your smartphone.
Yeah, I mean, AR, VR, it's most certainly part of our future. It's often difficult to imagine what that future looks like when we're referencing today's technology, but I think that there is opportunity for an expansive conversation beyond in real life when it comes to these augmented solutions.
A conversation that we're hearing more and more frequently is about diversity and inclusion in universal design, accessible design. How do brands today, how are they approaching that? And are they building that at the highest level from the CEO down? Is that being integrated into the conversation they're having with their community?
Good question. I mean, it's certainly a conversation that's part of the forefront. I think there are, as we mentioned earlier, so many more expectations of brands. And I think the temptation for some might be to glom on to every issue of the day. But with some of these more weighty, serious issues, I think brands need to consider, their personal brand ethos, their purpose, and how they can meaningfully intersect culture. So not every brand is positioned to step into every conversation. For example, Coca-Cola is an unlikely candidate to step into the health and wellness space, but they can, for example, interject themselves into the sharing economy. So I think for brands, the challenge is, yes, consumers are expecting you to take a stand on the issues of today before you're called to take a stand. But then also knowing where your brand has the sort of cultural equity, so to speak, to sort of step into these spaces.
It seems to me, though, that it took brands a long time to nail their sustainability conversation. And now they've got it nailed. I think it's very early days for the D&I and inclusive and universal and accessible conversation. Certainly that's what we're seeing, and we've created PAC IOU as a result of that. So where do you think they are in the stage of that process, maybe in comparison to sustainability?
Yeah, I think early stages and long overdue. I think not only within the C-suite, but we need to see more diversity amongst our designers, amongst our PAC designers, and we need to see more aggressive efforts to get diversity in our design programs. So these are things that are, yes, early stages, long overdue, but I'm optimistic about the future.
Our mandate, or our tagline with PAC IOU, is to champion packaging by everyone, for everyone. So help us out here, Brian. What advice would you give to an organization that is embarking on a futures program?
That's a good question. I think there's never been a more important time to be starting a futures program than right now. If the past 2 years have taught us anything, it's been an exercise in discontinuity. Challenges coming from everywhere, the completely unexpected. So I think for an organization that's sort of wading into this space, it's really about thinking about futures plural, the preferable, the possible, and the plausible futures. Because as we know, anything can come to bear, and we need to be thinking about all of the implications of multiple scenarios, future threats, and future opportunities that those threats present us. So it's an interesting time to be thinking about the challenges of tomorrow.
So complexity isn't going to change. The future is going to get more confusing. And we want to thank you today for coming all the way from Cincinnati and participating in this conversation. Great to meet you.
Thanks, Jim.
Take care. Now we're going to take a short trip over to neighboring Concord, Ontario to meet Derek Dugash-Ostap, CEO of PacSmart. Their brilliant technology brought the Consider Pastures egg carton to life. Pearl Fisher, in fact, won the 2022 PAC Global Brand Marketing Best of Show Award with their excellent brand design.
Packaging plays an essential role in protecting a product from damage, attracting consumers, to assisting in storage or consumption. Yet its appreciation and value is quickly eroded once the product is purchased or consumed and the package becomes waste. Our goal at PacSmart is to maintain an environment where technically minded people can collaborate together, push the boundaries of existing technologies to develop new products, and make our world a better place. Through our partnership with Pete and Jerry's Consider Pastures program, we were able to bring a truly unique product to a very mature industry of egg packaging. Both companies collaborated on overcoming several technological and material-related challenges. It takes a certain mindset and commitment to develop an environmentally friendly next-generation product with this incredible shelf presence.
Our marketing team developed a truly exceptional product. Not only is it beautiful, eco-friendly, it also has unique sustainability features. It is completely solvent and adhesive-free, which is a first for our industry. However, the packaging had introduced technical problems that could not be overcome using conventional methods.
At PacSmart, we are not afraid to enter into uncharted territories. Solving complex problems is what we do on a daily basis. We often deal with complex and intricate materials that are not flat, sometimes affected by humidity, handling, and other processes.
To meet the project requirements, instead of designing an entirely new system from scratch, we extended the existing frame and utilized additive manufacturing technologies to create parts with complicated geometry that has been designed to perfectly accommodate the product and the process. The result is unparalleled performance, with the ability to feed product in less time than the blink of a human eye.
The development of new packaging materials has surged in recent years, but has not been matched with the development of the necessary technologies to automate converting or packaging processes. At PacSmart, we recognize the opportunity and work together with our partners and industry stakeholders to develop a sustainable automation packaging solutions to enable advancement of more sustainable packaging products. By applying a very systematic research and development methodologies, we build modular solutions that allow our customers to bring their products to market faster, at a lower cost, with much higher level of efficiency.
When we finally found PacSmart, we realized we found a partnership that truly understood our unique challenge and understood the importance of not compromising design. The PacSmart team took ownership over the complete project, helped us through overcoming challenges with our design and development process. Their open-minded approach and their experience helped us achieve what we thought was impossible.
PacSmart, engineering the impossible.
Founded in 1883, Recipe is Canada's oldest and largest full-service restaurant company. They manage several well-known brands, two of which I have been a long customer. Harvey's and Swiss Chalet are my favorites for sure. As a teenager, I ate my first Harvey's hamburger in their founding location in Richmond Hill, Ontario. Several decades later, it is still my all-time fave go-to burger place, and I still get my pickles on the side. Swiss Chalet launched their rotisserie-style chicken in 1954. It's my favorite chicken destination, and the sauce is amazing. Their disruptive food-to-go packaging from WestRock is getting global attention. They won a 2022 Best in Class PAC Global Award in the Package Innovation Sustainable category. Well done, Recipe.
Swiss Chalet is an iconic Canadian brand and is part of the Recipe family. Guests know and love us for our food and our hospitality, and we take pride in providing excellence. We are the family brand where people come to celebrate life moments like birthdays and anniversaries with their friends and families. They have come to count on great food at great value. Making the change to recycled paperboard packaging was simply the right thing to do for the planet. We have been around for a long time, and we plan to be around for many more years. So like any business, you need to learn to adapt to the times. And now more than ever, natural resources around the world are dwindling, and ideas for more recyclable and renewable solutions are needed. Our change in packaging is only one part of the overall sustainability plan. It's the first step, but it was a critical step to take considering the number of guests that use our takeout and delivery services to enjoy our food. This was certainly amplified during COVID, with so many of our restaurant dining rooms closed due to regional restrictions. We are glad we found a solution for it.
So over the past decade, the awareness around climate change and environmental resources has been amplified as scientists learn more. So as a result, the call to action for everyone, including large organizations, to find sustainable solutions is higher than ever. So as we developed our plan, we really wanted to ensure that our approach was deeply rooted in guest insights. And the insights were very compelling. Number one, research demonstrated that guests are passionate about the environment and they're looking for long-term sustainable solutions. Number two, guests are likely to have an affinity for brands that are providing those sustainable solutions. Number three, sustainability is a key consideration and strong influencer for guests when making those purchase decisions. And number four, we learned that transparency is key for our guests. A recent report demonstrated that on a global scale, the majority of consumers have shifted to shopping more sustainably over the past 5 years. So as such, we set out on a journey to really do the right thing for the planet and to do the right thing for our guests with our new sustainable packaging solution.
So we worked closely with our design agency Jump to find the best design solution and solve for our three lenses of the business: guest, sustainability, and branding. First and foremost is guest. That's the most important lens for us, and for our guests, it's all about the function. We knew that the food needed to present and deliver well inside of the box itself, which impacted the finishes and the colors that we chose. We couldn't risk ink bleeding or transferring while in transit, so the obvious choice for us was a natural craft base. And operationally, things that seem small make big impacts in restaurant kitchens. Our old packaging was a clear plastic, which is really easy for an associate to glance at, check the bag, check the order, and make sure that it's correct. Now, we couldn't see through the paper, and that caused a big operational problem for us. To solve it, Jump and our operations team helped us create a new checklist system for the top of the boxes, easily allowing a teammate to mark what's inside the box and ensure order accuracy. And it helped our guests divide up their order at the dinner table. From a sustainability perspective, it was all about education. We knew that this was going to be a big change for our guests, and so we needed to bring all Canadians on the journey with us. On the outside of our boxes, we proudly display our sustainable forestry and Made in Canada certifications to reinforce the why behind the new packaging. Inside, we use valuable real estate underneath the lid to both sort of tell our Swiss Chalet brand story and teach our guests how to handle, rinse, and recycle the new packaging. Finally, on our sticker seals, we encourage our guests to give us their feedback so that we can continue to innovate and improve together. And lastly, our marketing purpose. This was all about our branding. We needed to design something that represented the Swiss Chalet brand well. It is a big brand moment if you think about it. You get your box, you open the lid, the chicken and the fries, the smell, it hits you, and it's all a big brand experience. So it was important for us to create a visual cue of what's inside when you see the box. In branding design, that means, does it look and feel like our brand, Swiss Chalet, with a new, innovative, and modern twist? Things like tilting our classic logo on a side made a big difference for us. And then at a glance, is it identifiable? Does it support those logoed, branded moments where you catch a glimpse of the side of the box? We're always thinking about things like, how will this look in social media? How will this look in an advertising spread? We kept it clean and simple with craft and pops of our iconic Chalet red, and then those strategic little logo placements that will display at all photography angles, from the common 3/4 angle to more artistic overhead spreads. All in all, it took many months of revisions, but in the end, we have a design that the entire team, and most importantly, our restaurants, are proud of.
We started the single-use plastic solutions, which is a common industry standard. We had a large plastic container which has most of our entree meals, with plastic clamshells for some of our smaller food items. As we started our sustainability journey, we worked very closely with our packaging partner, WestRock. We looked at various designs and materials such as bamboo and sugarcane. Ultimately, we landed on boxes made from 100% recycled materials and tray inserts that have a high grease holdout tolerance. We believe this solution was the best solution for us, as it ensured that it kept our food warm and that it traveled well between our restaurants and our guests. This decision was a big decision, as it would effectively remove 31 million units of plastic containers from the system per year, which is amazing. The packaging is not only made from sustainable sources, but it also supports the conservation of our forests and is proudly made in Canada.
This project was a full 2 years in the making. Naturally, when working on large-scale projects with big changes in the restaurant, there were a number of challenges we faced bringing this new sustainable packaging to life. Starting with COVID, which was a big surprise. And although we had started the development process prior to the onset of the pandemic, it actually helped propel our project forward as we were determined to support our guests alongside our business. Our business at Swiss Chalet is complex, as you can well imagine. We're a full-service restaurant company that is made up of a franchise network across the country. Educating and training our owners and their teams was a large part of our plan. We created a testing task force comprised of restaurants representing all of our design concepts with a range of sales volumes. We piloted the new packaging in store for many months and collected feedback from all of our associates on what was working, what wasn't working, and in order to tweak the design and fix the challenges with execution. With so many restaurants across the country, once the in-store testing was complete, it still took several months to roll out the new packaging to all of our restaurants. We took this opportunity to utilize LTO activations, taking a systematic approach and planning for an inventory changeover. There were definitely initial learning curves for all of the teams as they got used to handling the new format, but now that they've had 6 months to practice, they've overcome the initial challenges. The team has become quite proficient and in fact very excited given the positive guest response and happy to be part of another step in our sustainability plan at Swiss Chalet.
We are thrilled and really proud for all of the hard work that's gone in over the past few years to bring this vision into reality. and not just bringing it to life, but actually being recognized for it. So earlier on this year, we were honored to win a PAC Global Award within the sustainability category for our packaging, which is amazing. But even more so, from a guest perspective, we have really positive feedback. In fact, we also just won a Brand Spark Award for the second year in a row, which means that we are one of Canada's most trusted brands. But what makes it even better is that it's voted on by Canadians. So we have the momentum, we are excited about it, and we're gonna use this momentum to actually push ourselves. We wanna do better. We wanna keep iterating. We want to be creative. We wanna be innovative, because that's what the future holds. And I, for one, am really excited to see what's next.
As a company, we are invested in doing the right thing for our people, our guests, and the planet. And the transition to recycled packaging is only the first step to a sustainable future. We are constantly looking at how to push innovation and execute on our corporate social responsibility plan while we continue to build a brand that we can all be proud of for generations to come. A special thanks to everyone who helped us take this leap into sustainability. The entire Swiss Chalet team, our franchisee network, the greater Recipe family, as well as to our partners at WestRock and Jump. A really big thank you.
So we're back to where we started. What a day it's been. It is through the hard work of our team, our members, and sponsors who have brought you international disruptors virtually to the comfort of your personal space. At no cost to our international audience, we've provided an assortment of innovations that may add significant value to your business. You be the judge. Did we save you money, time, and energy? What you've learned today may take a week at a conference or trade show. As a not-for-profit, we do this for the love of packaging, and we do it for you, our members, and you, our soon-to-be members. We are incredibly grateful to a valued PAC Global member that hosted us today. Thank you, SGS Marks. And sponsors made financial contributions to enable the delivery of our important content. Canada Plastics Pact, PAC Smart, Spicers, and Tempo Flexible Packaging. All great PAC Global members. Thank you so much. If you like what you see today, join the PAC Global family now. Our goal is to champion packaging by all, for all. No one will be left behind. We're now coming to an end of the Packaging Disruption Magical Mystery Tour. We've had a blast. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Thank you for your attendance. Come back and see us again real soon.